I think I'm live. I think we are good. Test 1 2, test 1 2. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? If you can hear me in the chat box, when you hit that 1. Are we good? Nathan Fuller, perfect. Rudy, excellent. I moved the cam over to the bottom left-hand corner. What do you think about that? Is that distracting, or did you not even notice? I'm assuming nobody even noticed or cares or doesn't make any difference. It used to be a little bit over, but if my maybe I'm wrong and it's actually very distracting, or it makes things look out of. But I don't think it's. Hopefully it's not a distraction or anything like that. All right, didn't even. Okay, thank you, Nathan. That's what I assumed, but you know how the saying goes about assuming. All right. Well, Rudy Scott, thumbs up. Very good. Well, hopefully everybody is having a good day of trading. Not too volatile out there. Charts I was looking at weren't even budging, so I don't know what's going on, but very slow markets out there today. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding. Bro, I want to learn from scratch level. Please guide me where to start. So you want to start, or you want to learn, you want to start from, or you want to guide from where to start, and then I'm assuming go in a structured step-by-step way. So I do offer this, and I'll link you to this, and you can do with it whatever you please. So I'm not sure how to quite say your name, but there you go. So if you want to learn from me in a structured manner, step by step, starting off assuming you don't know anything and then to build from there, then that's what I offer in that regard. But yes, the markets are closed today. Even the futures market, there's been a couple. Let's see, what are the past ones been? President's Day and then Martin Luther King Day, where the stock market was closed, but then the futures market was still open for like a half day. But none of that happened for Good Friday today. So the market just, and when I say the market, I mean like all markets. Let me take a step back. I'm not talking about the crypto market, but stock market, futures market, totally down today. So I figured hop on, have a laid back stream, and take some requests. If you have questions, if you just want to shoot the breeze. This is always a weird day for people like myself that, I trade, but then I also have, the business at claytrader.com. So it's just like, what am I supposed to do today? I mean, most of the world is working still today. So I thought, hey, hop on, shoot the breeze. I mean, my kids are still having a normal day. They got a day home, a normal day of homeschooling and stuff like that today. So I'm kind of like the meme where the guy's just like sitting on the swing, just kind of not knowing what to do with his life. That's kind of me today. So, but yes, I will. I figure we can go over some charts, talk about kind of whatever. I want this one to be totally viewer driven. So if you have a request for a stock, for a crypto, for futures, for Forex, and you want me to take a look at a chart, just let me know, and I will do my best to get to it. Like I said, questions or anything like that, let me know. But like I said, I want this to just be totally viewer driven, and we'll see kind of where the wind takes us. I have no idea how long this will go. I guess it'll be a matter of how interested people are and how much interaction and participation and likes and all that sort of stuff. Which on that note, if you are enjoying, make sure you hit that like button. This is sort of kind of what I've been doing on Saturdays. So this is still somewhat of an experiment to see if people enjoy this sort of stuff. But yeah, we're up to 30 people now, so we'll hop in. I'm going to, like I said, if you have a request for anything, stock, crypto, futures, anything that you're in, you want me to take a look at the chart, let me know, and I will do that. Now is a good time to do it, because if more people show up and start dropping requests, then I might not be able to get to yours. I will get to them with $5 super chats, but as of right now, like I said, I would say no need to do a super chat just because nobody else has made any requests. So I would get to your request right now if you have one. But I want to start just with the SPY. Talked about this last week on Saturday for the Saturday morning coffee, and obviously it's a lot of drama, headlines, all that sort of stuff in the markets right now, and that's why I love charts, because charts allow you to take kind of a whole lot of smoke and drama and this and that and opinions, and you read one headline and then you go and you search somewhere else and then you see a totally opposite headline. I just like charts because they allow you to cut through the drama. And as I talked about last week, in my mind on the SPY, it's really as straightforward as drawing that trend line here. And let's just see, can the price stay above that trend line? And if the price can stay above that trend line, well then by definition, that means that the price is building higher bases, which by definition is a good sign for longs, is a good sign for bulls, right? You just want to see those higher lows being put in a place. So, don't overwhelm yourself with the headlines and the opinions and this and that and mainstream media and then other forms of media. Just let's see, can the price continue to hold above that level? But that does now all bring us into a very interesting point this upcoming week. So I just noticed that. Is my banner not showing across the top? Let me refresh this real quick. Okay, there it is. It is there. But this good morning, CWH. But this upcoming week, we do have, and as you can see right here, we're getting very close to a decision point. Now, there's no guarantee, so I'm not saying that if the price breaks down to that level, things are going to roll back over. But I don't think that would necessarily be shocking to anybody from a technical standpoint, because as of right now, we essentially, this is the pattern we're looking at. We have this that I already mapped out. Then we have a very clean, across the top here, area of resistance. So looking back here, you can see this was an area of support, and then just classic technical analysis. When areas of support are broken, they tend to act as resistance, went to acting as resistance and resistance. So this is essentially the wedge formation that is formed, and as you can see, the wedge is running out of space. So somebody's going to make up their mind at some point, but it looks like we're going to get a decision. We're going to get some sort of movement here where the price is either going to get a bounce off that lower trend line, or it's going to break down through, and potentially we may be looking at a bearish week where we see a bit of a pullback. Now, even if the price does break down through that trend line, the overall chart's not totally broken in the sense of, well, it still has not broken to new lows or anything like that. Now, but from a trading standpoint, which I assume the majority of us sit, yeah, a break right here, and even if it just comes down there and then bounces, well, okay, that's fine. But in the meantime, while it makes that journey down to there, for us traders, yeah, this could be some good opportunity. A whole lot of potential trade plans and day trades and stuff like that could be put together, including maybe some swing trades could be put together. So like I said, even under this premise where it's not going to put in new lows, it's going to double bottom and skyrocket. Well, in that process, right here, this could be a good opportunity for traders. But like I said, we got to see how it behaves with that trend line right there. So that's kind of my main premise moving into this new next week is let's see. From the technical point of view, is the price going to respect this area right here? Again, for those of you that are getting logged on, if you have requests, whether that's a stock, futures, Forex, crypto, and you'd like me to take a look at the chart, let me know, and I'd be happy to do that. Rudy Scott, thoughts on Tesla? Let's take a look at Tesla. I'm assuming a lot of these charts are probably going to be the same thing. I bet I can throw a trend line in on Tesla, and we'll see how it... no, a little different. So on Tesla, I think the biggest bright spot, just from a technical standpoint, is it's at least started to finally go sideways here a little bit. Maybe you're saying, well, that's setting the bar kind of low. But yeah, it is kind of low. But you got to keep in mind, when this is the context where it was for, literally a few months in a row, just down, 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 down. The mere fact it's going sideways still doesn't guarantee anything, but now makes it very plausible to just throw out the question, hey, maybe, just maybe, the selling pressure is finally done. Maybe, just maybe, people are coming in enough full force to buy and then eventually get the price to head back upwards. So we'll see what happens with that, but at least the price is now going sideways, which also makes this area down here a very, very Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it a must-hold level because, and no fancy premise, but I would call 214 that must-hold area because if the price does break below it, then like I said, nothing fancy here. That means that the price has officially broken down below this area right here and is now putting in even new lows that have not been seen for a very long time. The good news here is that would require the price to come all the way down here. And even if it does, then we have bottom 1, we have bottom 2, and then you can throw out the more than valid question, would this be some sort of triple bottom bounce right now where the price then turns around? So 214, very, very important level of support to watch from a Tesla standpoint. Again, hey, good morning, Kevin. If you have any requests, now would be the time. Because if we start to get more and more people that show up and start dropping requests, your request may not get done, or it may not get done until 20 minutes after you request it. So now is definitely the time. If you do have a request, just let me know, or else this may be a very short stream. Again, this one during the week or when the markets are open. That's very easy because the markets are trading, the markets are open. I can just commentate the market. But like these ones, I'm definitely depending on all of you to keep this thing going here. So yeah, that's the daily chart. And then just from a resistance standpoint, the 200 period, that pink line you can see right now, seems to definitely be the key area of resistance. So if it does head back up, you'll want to watch that area. Right now, that 200 period moving average valued right around 291.25. And then if we drop down to the hourly time frame, you can see that overall it's hanging in there. It's doing its best. Actually, out of curiosity, this might be a worthwhile area to throw in there. So we have an uptrending trend line right there. So keep an eye on that. And if the price can stay above there, that would be even better than staying up above that low right there. So there is Tesla. Will you be reviewing DXY or NQ? Yeah, I will now because you requested it. That's what I mean. This is viewer driven. You tell me what you want me to review right now. That's the whole point of this. But before I can get to that one, somebody beat you with Amazon. All right, let's take a look at Amazon. So we're starting here on the daily time frame. And yeah, I mean, it's hanging on there. It's not looking the greatest, but I mean, it's trying to hang on. What do I mean by hang on? Well, the area that stands out to me is what I would consider definitely a pretty important area. Is right here at the 168 mark. Why is 168 important? And I'm not saying this is what's going to occur, but if the price were to come down here and then break down through there, at that point in time, what would we have? Well, we would have the price having essentially gone right back to where it was. And not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine power, genuine strength, or anything like that. Now if you're bearish, then yes, of course, you would love to see 168 fall. But on the flip side of things, because to be fair, as nice as it would be, nothing can go straight up. So maybe the price comes down to this area, but in this situation, does something like that. What would you now have in this set of circumstances? Well, you would have a set of lows right there. You'd have this set of lows right here. And if you envision each of those as stair steps, well, now you have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. And that's what a bullish move is. It's not going straight up, but it is making progress. Making progress being defined as putting in higher lows. So the quote-unquote progress point here on Amazon, in my opinion, right there at the 168 mark, because that at least implies that it's building higher bases. So, yeah, it's pulled back from its highs, but it's still got the chance to build the higher low. So we'll see if Amazon can do that with, again, by staying up above that 168 mark. And if the price does curl back upwards, then in terms of areas of resistance, we have a pretty interesting trend line right here. So keep an eye on that. Let's drop down to the 30-minute on this one. See if we can see. I don't know. Is that? Maybe we're looking at a falling wedge. I can't quite tell. Let's see. So if I connect that. Yeah, kind of, sort of falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern. Now, as always, just because something's bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed it's going to move upwards. But yeah, we do essentially have a bit of a falling wedge here. I don't know if that's the best looking falling wedge that I've ever seen, but you are not crazy. I would, nothing's guaranteed to happen, but I would certainly not call you crazy if you're saying, Clay, if it breaks up through here, I'm going to buy because I think that break right there could generate some upside buying pressure. Again, I that doesn't mean it's going to happen. That's why risk management matters. But I would say, okay, yeah, I see your logic. I see the thoughts behind that. Makes sense. Make sure you manage your risk, but I got it. And that's what, that's what our job as traders is to make logical, rational decisions, not go out there and have somebody ask, hey, why did you do that? And you're like, I don't know. I just felt like doing it. That's not, there's no logic. That's just pure emotions. But here, and I want to just, reiterate, just because you make a logical, rational decision does not mean it'll work out. That's why risk management is paramount. But over time, that's how you're going to give yourself edges, and we need edges in the market. You got to find, and you got to, do things that you think through. I would watch the channel inside the falling wedge. Which channel are you talking? Like this channel right here, are you saying? Like that channel? I realize it's not the greatest channel because it broke down through there, but yeah, I'm not. Or are you talking about like this channel right here? Like this little sideways channel right there? Is that what you're talking about? Bottom and center. Oh, I'm guessing the brown channel there. Didn't think you would stream today. Yeah, well, I kind of thought I would just because, like I was saying earlier, Mark, like the markets are one of the few days. I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, are banks open today? Both? Yeah, but it's, this is one of these days where like most of the world is operating as normal, including my family. So like my wife, she's down homeschooling, she's doing her thing. So I'm kind of like the guy that's just walking around, meandering through life, not knowing what I should be doing. So I thought, I'll come on here and do this, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, you can keep an eye on those channels. So what is the 5 minute looking like? Grant, I don't know. Hopefully none of you care about what the 5 minute on Amazon looks like. Again, if you're enjoying this, make sure you hit that like button. We're actually doing surprisingly well at 18 likes already. Lower crowd size, which would be expected. Let's see. Again, if you have a request, drop it, and I will. I'll get to it. Could be a stock, could be an option, could be futures. Will you be reviewing? Which one would you prefer more, DXY or NQ? That's the one thing. I want to keep it fair. So one request per person. If you want to do additional requests, totally fine. But $5 super chats for that. But DXY you prefer. Okay. Isn't that, I think that's the dollar. All right. DXY. Let's see. Was I right? Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, the dollar's been getting hammered, hasn't it? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Come on now, America. Come on now, America. We need a strong currency, America. Good grief. All right, well, right here, so this is what I would start off as a main area of resistance moving forward. So right here, we'll call it 115. This is just basic technical analysis back here in September, October. This was the lows. So just basic technical analysis, when areas of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So you can see, unfortunately, here, and wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? Look at that. Played out perfectly. Price broke down below that area right there. So at that moment in time, when the price down below it, you would start to expect it to act as resistance. And surprise, surprise, look what has begun to act as resistance. Right there, the power of charts. So in the very near term, yes, 117, 115, right around that area is going to be the key battleground, the key area that if there is going to be any sort of attempted bullishness, attempted bounce in the dollar, then that will be the first. Now, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to get through there, but that will be the first level that will need to be broken if, like I said, if there is going to be any sort of upwards movement through that area. So keep a close eye on that one. And we'll see if that level can indeed find some bullishness with breaking through there. In terms of, well, right now, as I look at it, things are already looking a little bit sketchy. As if I draw a trend line right there, because there was a bear pennant that had formed, but maybe you already noticed it. Well, wait a second. We're already down below the bear pennant. Exactly. So that brings about, I think, a more than valid, no guarantees, but a more than plausible conclusion of, is this about to happen this upcoming week? We got the breakdown. Friday was a bit of, Thursday was a bit of a pause. But is this going to continue? We will see. But already have the bear pennant breakdown. So the breakdown has already occurred. Now we're just on the next question. Because the first question is, will the pattern break down? So yes, we got our answer. Yes, it's broken down. The second question is, will the breakdown get continuation? So that is where we stand right now. Are we going to get continuation going into this next week? Not looking so hot, but we'll see what happens with it. We'll go to the 30-minute. So yeah, this is just kind of another look at that breakdown that we were just looking at. Nope, I take that back. So on the 30-minute, we're basically right at that trend line there. That must have been, yeah, okay, that was it right there. So that is the trend line from the daily, but if on the 30-minute here, we come down to here, this maybe provides a little bit more comfort. By connecting that low and that low, you can see that as of right now, it is respecting it, but you can also see that the day closed right there at that level. So that is another question mark right there. And maybe this is the trend line where if this one breaks, then thinking back to the daily time frame, the break of this is going to be what gives us continuation on the daily time frame. So how important are horizontal price lines? Well, I don't know. Some strategies are going to be way more important than others. So yeah, I'm not trying to be, well, I am trying to be open-ended and broad, Jack, because that is a very broad question. I have no idea how important they are because I don't know what your strategy is. I don't know anything about what you're trying to, do. So that would be strategy dependent. I would assume that some strategies don't even care about horizontal price lines, but that would depend on the strategy. So yeah, DXY dollar, I would say looking pretty shaky headed into this next week, which is disappointing. As an American, disappointing. I want to see a strong currency. All right. Let's see, where were we? Again, $5 super chats. I'll do the request and I'll do it right away. So you don't have to do a super chat. I'm just saying that the risk for you is either I don't get to your request or I get to it like 10, 15 minutes after you make it. But requests will happen right away. Let's see. Okay, IONQ. Hopefully no rate cuts. Very contradict. Yeah, I personally hope I mean they're not going to, but I'd love to see Powell raise interest rates. That would be anyways, we won't go down the economic rabbit hole right now. But yeah, I am definitely with you in terms of hopefully no rate cuts. But for me, I'd say hopefully they increase. But I realize they're not going to increase interest rates. Why? Because inflation is about to spin out of control. Not to mention they never even hit their mandate. So my biggest complaint with the Fed and Powell, I think Powell's done an overall good job. My only complaint is they started cutting interest rates before they even hit their goal. Like inflation still hasn't got down to 2%. Like people seem to forget like that was their goal. Hey, 2%. We want 2%. They never even got to that goal, yet they started to cut interest rates. So that's my one nitpick. But it's been nice to see him not slash them down. Because, I mean, that's what causes inflation. That's what causes inflation. Money printing. So, yeah. And with all the tariffs and prices and stuff like that, that'll be going up, price that'll be going up. The last thing you need is for lower interest rates, which will make prices go up even more. It's like inflation, and more inflation. It's amazing how quick people forget from just a couple years ago. Skyrocketing prices, not pleasant. It benefits the consumer to decrease. No, it doesn't benefit the consumer to decrease. What consumer are you talking about? The ones that are loaded down in debt? What about people like me that have savings? I like having higher interest rates. For a while, I was getting over 5% in my savings accounts. That was amazing. But no, it does not benefit. Mortgage holders, that's why you get a fixed rate. Okay, so your premise seems to be, well, yeah, but if you have lower rates, then that means more people can get a house. But if more people are bidding for houses, what does that do to house prices? They go up. And now you're like, well, the Fed needs to lower it more so people can afford the even higher house prices. Well, then if more people can afford it, what do house prices go? They go even up further. That's why bubbles are created. The solution is not, well, let's just make the debt cheaper for everybody. It's not. It's like, hey, how about we just make it so people can actually afford it? And actually afford it meaning, you know what? A little higher interest rates. Maybe they have to wait a little bit while longer to save up a little bit more money, but at least they're doing it. I hear you, but some folks had to move, so couldn't hold their 2%. Oh, well, I mean, all I'm saying is lower interest rates solve nothing. Well, maybe they do it in like a little glimpse in time, but overall, all lower interest rates do is inflate things. That's all it does. And I operate under the premise that at the end of the day, this is why inflation is politicians' favorite way to tax people. Because politicians can sit there and say, we're not raising your taxes. We're cutting taxes. We're not touching taxes. But all they're doing is printing money. And the way that they're taxing the poor, middle class, the people that actually care about it, is just with inflation, higher prices. So you're paying higher prices. That is the tax. There's a great quote out there with that, and I always paraphrase it. But yes, politicians, their favorite way to tax people is through inflation. But yeah, no, good discussion. And I hear what you're saying. I really do. But there is a reason why Reagan crushed inflation back in the 80s by jacking up interest rates. All right. Good discussion, though. Good discussion. I'm kind of an economic nerd, so I'm always go for that. All right, I got to go back up again. The benefit of a $5 super chat is that I'll get your request for sure, and I'll get to it right away. But right now, I'm having to scroll way back up in the conversation. So if you requested something, I don't even know if you're still here. Yeah, I'm a little worried about. I hope Paul sticks around, but we'll see. We'll see. Curls, yeah, people amaze me. Somebody can ask somebody else a million questions and then still have doubt. Like, I just don't know. I just don't know. But good, Curls. I'm glad that I finally, after 18 million questions, and I erased your doubts. Good. Whew. Took a bit. Good grief. Let's see. Are you watching resistance or momentum? Robert, that question doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's not a either or type situation. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but are you watching resistance or momentum? I would say both. But maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying. All right. So Tony requested IONQ. IONQ. So on the daily, the big battleground right now, right here, 50-day simple moving average. You can see right up here, gapped up, smacked right back down by it. Good news is heading into next week, looking like another battle could be approaching right here as it comes up to that area. So seems to have a legitimate chance of potentially breaking up and pushing up through there on that level. With that being said, though, let me check something real quick. Where's that area at? Yeah, so don't get me wrong. The purple line is a key level. But now upon looking at this, even if the price does break above that purple line, I wouldn't get too excited about it. Because not that far away, you still do have this 2805 mark, which you can see. Resistance, resistance, resistance. So this area here, I would definitely consider more of a resistance zone. So again, if you want to buy the breakout of that, I suppose you could. I would be very nervous because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, sure, I'm buying the breakout. Sure, it can maybe move. Now, if you're like some sort of very small little scalper, then I guess right there maybe is enough room for you to scalp out. But I would be worried that it breaks a purple line, everybody rejoices, and then boom, that level right there smacks the price back down like it's done several times before. If the price does come back down, key area, ideally you want to see the price continue to hold above that pink line right there. But even if it doesn't, then you could get some sort of trend line in there like that to monitor things. Do you prefer making money longing or shorting the market? Psychology suggests that shorting is easier. So I enjoy shorting, but I guess by definition, I prefer to do what is easier. And psychology suggests that shorting is easier to make money. So yes, I guess I prefer to short. Again, if you're enjoying, make sure you hit that like button. And still trying to figure out if I want to, continue to do these ones where it's viewer driven, everything like that. But if people are finding value, then let me know. Dude, I went degen mode after I blew that account. I got 3 Apex accounts for $100, blew them up. Got 3 more for another $100, and yep, blew them up. Yeah, that sounds like it sounds like the long weekend is probably exactly what the doctor ordered for you. Let you kind of reset, take a breath. So yes, I agree with your diagnosis. How did you conclude that? I needed, yes, I agree. It sounds like you did need this long weekend. Coin. All right, let's take a look at coin. Well, right now it's kind of I'd say a relatively stronger looking bear pennant, but it is still a bear pennant nonetheless. So we have this upwards move here. But then right across the top here, we have this area of resistance. And then just kind of, so support, resistance, but this is still occurring in an overall downtrend. So, and then just to make it maybe a little easier to see, let's extend this out. Let's put the golf hole up here. So an upside down pennant, bear pennant. Just like I mentioned earlier, just because something's a bullish pattern doesn't mean it's for sure going up. Same is true here. Just because something's a bearish pattern does not mean it's going to go down. But so that's the overall context of things. But yes, I don't know what people's strategies are. So maybe you don't really care about that if you're some sort of shorter term day trader or swing trader. By the way, if you're day trading coin, you're making poor life decisions, okay? Poor life decisions if you're day trading. I'm hoping everybody that's asking about stocks or asking about it more from like a swing trading or maybe like a longer term investment. If you're asking about it from a day trading standpoint, we need to have a conversation. I need to introduce you to Pam's plant. But near term, like I said, we have this. Some would argue this is an ascending triangle, and I wouldn't necessarily push back against that. I would just say it is an ascending triangle in an overall downtrend. What's the 30-minute got for us? Ooh. All right, that's a pretty spicy trend line right there. So by using these points, you can see right there, forecasted that, forecasted that, forecasted that. So yes, really before you put any emphasis at all on that overall resistance right there, looking as though this area here is going to be that first key battleground to keep a close eye on. From the support side of things, I would say, preferably speaking, you want the price to hold above there. But if it doesn't, not the end of the world, because you still do have the overarching trend line right here, which is coming from the daily time frame. But yeah, 30-minute, we have this essentially kind of a bit of a wedge that's forming. So as you can see, as time goes on, the wedge is running out of room. So eventually, you got to ask the question, who is ultimately going to win out of this battle? So there is coin. How important are that makes me feel better? Are you watching? Hopefully no rate cuts. Okay, we had that. Okay, that's all that. Okay. People asking to raise any doubts. Your insights. Uncle Donnie. Do you prefer making money? I'm interested in buying Snowflake for the long term, but the price is still pretty high. Okay, so now we're looking at Snow. EJ, I'm on record. Nasdaq hits. So are you short, EJ? You got like long dated puts or what? Okay, you're on the record. That's good. So how are you playing? How are you short right now? In what way are you short? Okay, Snow. Let's start on the daily. Again, for those of you that are logged on, if you have a stock, if you have a crypto, if you have a futures market, if you have Forex pairing, I'll look at any chart. Just drop it in the chat box. $5 super chats, bring them to the top, and I'll do them right away. And again, if you are enjoying, hit that like button. Ooh, Snow, okay. Now, I like Snow, just in the near term. It's hard to refute that. That's a beautiful golf hole down here. That's a beautiful bull pennant pattern. The only but I have, BUT that is, the but here is, well, it is still occurring in an overall downtrend. Does that mean for sure, guaranteed, that this is going to be a failed bull pennant that breaks the downside? No, of course, there's no guarantees. Would anybody necessarily be shocked if this is a bull pennant that ultimately does fail to the downside? I don't think anybody would be shocked by that and say, whoa, I didn't see that failure to the downside coming on that bull pennant. So yes, beautiful bull pennant. The only problem is a beautiful bull pennant is occurring in an overall downtrend, which I suppose brings about the philosophical debate. Therefore, Clay, is it actually a beautiful bull pennant? But we'll parse it out. Not factoring in the trend, it's a beautiful bull pennant. When you factor in the trend, that's where the waters get a little muddy and things aren't quite as attractive. But yeah, if this was a pattern occurring in an overall uptrend, chef's kiss would be an absolute beautiful thing, like my face. But yeah, unfortunately, this thing has an overall downtrend. But let's see what's going on in the 30-minute here. So you got to think there are some shorts. Watching that area right there. Let me change that to green. And just because, if the price breaks down through that area, again, I'm not saying that it drops straight down to that level right there. All I'm saying is that from kind of a quote-unquote space perspective, there's a lot of space here. There's not really any sort of suggestion where there would be any areas of support. Again, if the price breaks here, I'm not saying within 2 seconds it's dropping straight down to there. But could I see a drift? And for that drift to pick up some momentum, I could definitely see that. And then that would be the next point where you'd at least throw out the question of, okay, is that going to be the area where maybe some buyers step in? So this trend line here from a short standpoint, very, very interesting. Because if I approach this and say, okay, I'm looking to short, yeah, I would find that very, very interesting. But to be fair, so far so good. The price is holding above that level, but that's certainly a location where if it were to fail, I could see the bears step in. I could see some bearish momentum kick in. Yeah, and then it's looking like this is more so the overall. Yeah, right there. So that trend line right there is certainly going to be the key battleground point from a overarching resistance standpoint. Man, where'd EJ go? I want to know if EJ's putting some money where his mouth is. Okay, that's the answer I thought. Thank you, Samira. The quantum computing company, pretty interesting. Okay, that's the answer I thought. EJ. I hold 100 coin shares. That's why I'm asking. Yeah. No, I assumed you had some sort of financial interest. Short CCL, TSLQ bear. Why not, EJ? Why not just short QQQ? Why not just short the market? But I will say this: I'm glad you're putting your money where your mouth is. That's good. I appreciate that. Nothing worse than the armchair. I'm calling this level. Oh yeah, so you got money on the line? No. Okay, well then you're just saying stuff. So EJ, props to you for putting some money where your mouth is. Emmy, I'm telling you, Emmy, I know a place that could help you out, Emmy. I know a place. I like CRW too, but it's also inflated. Itchy to buy for the long term. I've only added funds to the Roth, some shares. I use your promo code for take profit. Hey, thanks, Richard. What account size did you get? Much appreciated, Richard. Lots of other stocks short. Market is going to crash. Oh, good grief. EJ, you're doing so well until you had to until you had to say the market is going to crash. Oh, you were doing so well. But I'm not going to go off on my tangent on that pet peeve. Let's see, where are we at? What books do you recommend to read about trading? None. Books are garbage. Here's what a book will do. Buying right there is a good entry point. Well, no kidding. It's easy to look back. It's easy to find pictures for your book and then map out what should have been doing, what should be going on. Books, no. Books are, if only it were that easy. Books are a waste of your time. Now, books on psychology, I'm way more open to that. But any other type of trading book, pure garbage. Pure garbage. Again, books just look back to in the past. They find a nice picture of exactly what they want to illustrate, and then they just, yeah, see this, and you should have bought here, and then if you would have, done this and that, it's like, well, no kidding. When you're half full hindsight in your favor. So yeah, I don't recommend. Again, the exception being if you're asking like a book on trader psychology, stuff like that, or really just quite frankly psychology books. That can offer some value. Let's see, where are we at? All right, now we're getting a lot of requests, so that's why I say if you give a request without the super chat, that's fine. But it may be like 15, 20 minutes before I finally get to your request. But if a $5 super chat does make sure that I do it right away. Franco, what broker do I use? Well, that's kind of a two-pronged question. I am doing Pam's Plant. So Pam's Plant just quickly is an argument because I'm a day trader. And for day traders, if you want to day trade, then I argue Pam's Plan is the best way to go about it. And it's just an argument for day trading futures through a prop firm. And that's the reasoning behind it right there. So with that in mind, the first step in terms of kind of what quote unquote broker do I use is I use the prop firm. Like I said, I'm day trading futures and then I use a prop firm. The prop firm that I'm using is Take Profit Trader. You can see the link at the top. So the way that whole sequence works is in order to get to again, I'm going to get to the platform that I'm using. But the first step in that would be you select what kind of purchasing power you want. And then after that, during the checkout phase, you're going to ask you, well, what platform do you want? And I am using Tradeovate. So if you've ever been on any of my live streams and the platform you see there, that is Tradeovate. And the nice thing here about all this is you don't need to go to Tradeovate and create a separate account. The prop firm does that for you. So it's a massive time savings, massive headache saver. They'll create the account for you and then they'll just send you the login information. So your username and password, and then you will log in. So it's a two-pronged thing. I'm using Tradeovate through Take Profit Trader, which is my prop firm. And like I said, Pam's Plant, as far as I'm concerned, in the category of day trading. So in other words, if you are day trading stocks, day trading crypto, day trading forex, day trading options, you are wasting your time. Those things are garbage. And I can prove it mathematically. I can prove everything. I get it, they're bold claims, but they're actually quite easy to prove because that's just how good futures are. And then when you factor in the prop firm aspect of it, the argument just becomes that much stronger. But that is, yeah. So like I said, if you are day trading anything other than futures, I'm telling you, you're wasting your time. You're taking on unnecessary risk. You're putting your own personal capital in danger. It makes no sense. And I can back up that through logic. So when I say it makes no sense, I mean it literally makes no sense, logically speaking, logic based in math. Because think about it, that's what math is, right? It's logic, it's structure, it's a sequence, it's providing structure to things. So when I say it makes no sense, I mean that mathematically logic based. It makes no sense. All right, where'd my charts go? There we go. Do I need to purchase it? No. The data, Richard's all included. Yep, the data is included within your fee. And again, Richard, I don't know what size account you did, but the monthly fee right there, that goes away after you pass the test. So once you get into the pro account, there are no more fees, but you still don't even have to pay for data. I mean, how cool is that? The 50K. Okay, yeah. So for this one, once you pass, then it will that goes away. No more fees, but yet you'll still have live data and all of that. For futures, do you use leverage? Yeah, amazing leverage, and it's easy to calculate with a prop firm again, because a prop firm, when you pick out what purchasing power you want, they just flat out tell you what you're going to be able to get, or in other words, what kind of leverage are you going to be able to get. So if you're getting 50,000 purchasing power, then you would be able to be, purchase, this is per trade, and every single day, because there is no pattern day trading rule in futures. So that's the main thing of Pam's plan. The first point is, if you're a day trader of stocks or options and you're struggling, annoyed by the pattern day trader rule, there is zero pattern day trading rule within the world of futures. So that just is, every trade. So some people say, well, so I can only do 6 contracts per day. Nope, only per trade, but you can do as many trades as you want every single day. So you could do up to 6 trades of the very volatile contracts, because in futures, you're trading contracts, you're not trading shares. But that's, so like what, I can only get 6 shares. No, they're not shares, they're contracts, but each contract moves very, very quickly. Or you can get up to 60 of the less volatile variety. But that's what kind of leverage is being used because that was always intimidating. Like, okay, well, how much do things cost? How do I do the math? Because I got these margin requirements and this, that, and the other. But prop firms just make it very easy. For this price, $119, you're going to get $50,000 in purchasing power, and $50,000 in purchasing power gets you these 2 things right there. Oh, Hoover. All right, I got to immediately, per the rules, $5. I got an Apex account for $33 a month, so it's cheap. Any suggestions to beat the trailing drawdown on 2,500, sometimes average into the trade? Yeah, you got to be just very aggressive, because eventually those go away. But during the trailing drawdown, you gotta be aggressive with your stop. As it goes in your favor, just keep moving that stop in your favor, because you can't have one of these where it goes massively in your favor, but then you get greedy and you're like, nope, I'm not going to move my stop loss up, and then it comes all the way back down. No bueno. Is there a warning if you're about to break a rule? No warning. Nope. But the rule that you have to learn about, Richard. So on the 50K, just don't. If you're doing the volatile contracts, don't get any more than 6. If you're doing, and quite frankly, I don't even think they'll let you buy more than 6. So I don't even think you can break that rule, or 60. But the main one that you have to look at is just 2,000. Don't lose more than that. Always be in cash. You're not allowed to hold overnight. So always be out of your positions every day by 5 p.m. Eastern, because the futures market do close for 1 hour every day from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. So just don't have anything at 5 p.m. That's it. Just you're a day trader. You're not here to hold overnight. You're not a swing trader. So just make sure that you're out of your positions every day by 5 p.m. And then during the test phase, there's a 50% consistency rule, which just means you're not allowed to make more than 50% of your total profit target. And that's only during the test phase. Once you move to the pro account, you can make as much money as you want. But so what is the 50% rule? Well, I'm going to quiz you here, Richard. The 50% rule says you're not allowed to make more than 50% of your profit target. So, Richard, how much are you allowed to make per day during the test phase at most? How much are you allowed to make? Same with everybody else. Same question. Oh, man, prop firms, they're so complicated. No, like I said, 50%. says you're not allowed to make more than 50% of your profit target. So if the profit target is 3,000, how much are you allowed to make in a single day? There you go, Richard. Got to make $1,500 or less. And yes, the drawdown, it trails you end of the day. So every day it'll be 2,000. Now, if you lose 500, then the next day it'll be 1,500. But if you make 500, the next day it's not going to be 2,500. It'll still be 2,000 because it's trailing you up. They want to see you stay disciplined. They want to see it, or that, you know, they're giving you that 2,000. But yeah, other than that, that's the rules. And that's why I always recommend Take Profit Trader, especially if you're a beginner. I'm not opposed to Apex, but I always say Apex is for more of the advanced, more of the veteran prop firm trader. But Take Profit Trader is a great way to just learn about things. The rules are much more straightforward. There's not a huge, thick rule book, which Apex does have. Again, I recommend Apex. So, hey, if you're a veteran and you want to support the channel, right now, 80% off. You want to support the channel, code Clay. So I'm not saying any of this to bash Apex. I have a lot of members that use Apex. Apex pays. They've been around a while, but I would definitely consider them an advanced prop firm broker. Where if you're brand new to this, you're going to get so overwhelmed. I'm even overwhelmed by them because so many rules. Wait, what's that? What's that? Again, that doesn't mean that they're not right. I'm just saying, are they beginner friendly? I would argue probably not. But if you're already advanced and you want to support the channel, then hey, take advantage of the 80% off right now. Code Clay for that. So, you know, none of that is to bash Apex, but it is to say that I like and I use Take Profit Trader. I think they're way more smooth because I literally just with Richard went through all the rules and now he's good to go. Just started my test this week on Take Profit 50K. Use your promo. Thank you, Jake. 4 days in, halfway to the goal. Very good, very good. Started slow, slowly building. Thanks from a long-time follower, 10 years plan. Jake, let me ask you this. Had you done futures trading before you started with Take Profit Trader? Oh, I love these situations. All right, now where are we at here? I know, like I said, $5 request. Make sure I get your request in question right away like I did for Hoover. But at this point, we have a bigger crowd now, so I can't quite say that I'm going to get your request or I might miss it. I'm trying to scroll back and see. Okay, so coming from options, you are now trading. So you were day trading options. You just started futures this past week. Jake, would you say that Pam's plan is true? Would you say that what you're looking at here? Because remember, the argument here is for futures. Would you say that futures are better? Are you enjoying them? Do you see the benefits compared to what you were doing options? So, Jake, I want to ask you that. So far, everybody's been like, yeah, futures are way better than what I was previously day trading. So let's see if we can keep the streak going. Now, be honest, Jake. You were paper trading options, and now you've begun. Look at that. Yes. Risk management. Yeah. So, again, another conversion. They tried Pam's plant. And now Jake is like, oh, yeah, I was day trading options, but oh, yeah. Yes, explanation mark. They are better because they are. I've been told, and it proved to be true for me, every day trader eventually will end up in futures because they're just better. They're just better. And they get even better now with the invention of the prop firms and all that. They get that much better. So another win for Pam's plant. So I will say, Jake, thank you for trusting me. Thank you for giving Pam's plant a try, and I am glad that you're seeing that Pam's plant is a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Again, our newest convert and newest data point of somebody that was trading, or I got to be careful. I got to say day trading because Pam's plant is for swing trade, is for only day trading. If you're a swing trader or investor, those are different categories. But for the category of day trader, we have ourselves another winner. Okay, we got ourselves another one. Ronnie T, good morning. This is my first week on futures. I'm minus 300, but it is way better than crypto or stocks. And just to confirm, Ronnie, I don't want to give anybody a false impression. When you say better than crypto or stocks, were you day trading crypto and stocks previously, and now you are day trading futures? Is that an accurate representation? What do you mean you lost your deal? What deal did you lose, Hoover? I trade options as well. Richard, day trade? Okay, so here we go. Ronnie T in the chat room. He used to day trade crypto or stocks, and in his own words, futures are way better. Pam's plan again. Thomas R, my friend from Sweden. I remember you. You got to be patient, buddy. You got to be patient. Like I said, if you want me to see your question right away, as I've explained, $5 super chats. That is the benefit of it. Now, you don't have to do a $5 super chat, but I'm just saying I make no promise that I'm going to either see your comment or reply to it because maybe I don't see it or maybe we run out of time. But a $5 super chat, make sure that I see it and I see it right away. So please don't be like, hey, did you see my question? Yay, bro, I asked you a question. Yes, I'm sure you did. But again, if it's that important, let's see. Day trading crypto and stock. Okay, yeah. Okay, Richard, yes. So I'm gonna. Well, I mean, Richard, I'll tell you right now, you're a crazy person for day trading options. Richard, when I say theta, what are your thoughts on theta as a day trader of options? What are your thoughts on theta? Okay, Thomas, please don't copy and paste your question. Now you're spamming the question. Please don't do that. Yeah, exactly. It sucks. So for anybody that's here, so defeating the argument of, well, I day trade options. It's like, okay, well, why would you do that? Why would you suffer through theta if you don't have to? And the thing with futures, there's no theta. No theta. What is theta? What is this guy? Why is this guy talking Greek to me? Well, in the world of futures, let me find this situation. In the world of futures, this is terrible, terrible, terrible. Maybe you're saying, well, why is that terrible, Clay? The price is just chopping around sideways. Yes, in options trading, there's something called theta, which means as time passes, your money, the value of your position is going down. So sideways action is terrible. I mean, it's financial torture. And I like I said, wait, what? Yeah, so you could get in, and just because it doesn't go in your favor right away and it starts to go sideways. Now, of course, if it goes the opposite direction, well, then in that point, well, of course you're going to lose money. But it's losing money if it goes sideways. So think about it, day trading futures. Because in futures, or in, so options, if you get in, and let's say the price goes down, well, then, of course, in that situation, that's the easy one. Well, yeah, you're going to lose money because the prices went down. Well, what about if the price just goes sideways? Again, in options, you lose money. So the only way that you can make money is the price has got to go in your favor, and it's got to go in your favor pretty quickly because as it goes sideways, your position is losing value, losing value, losing value. So in options day trading, you basically have to be like a perfect sniper and absolutely nail entry points, or else, yeah. So in other words, you got about a 33% chance of making money day trading options because, of course, going the opposite direction of what you want it is going to lose you money. But even just going sideways is going to lose you money. Brutal, brutal stuff. Oh, yeah, then you have IV and all, you have implied volatility, which most people are like, wait, what's implied volatility? Some options day traders don't even know what theta is. They're like, wait, what's theta? I'm like, oh, you're day trading options and you don't even know what theta is. But we all do stupid things when we get started. So and I was king stupid, so I don't want to come across as too judgmental. But yeah, defeating, Pam's plant has an easy victory over day trading options because just based on theta alone, and then you factor in the pattern day trading rule, and yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. I had an idea I want to run by you. Do you think it's smart to have 2 to 3 prop accounts in order to have some redundancy in case of a major issue? Yeah. So my theory is this, and this is why I like take profit trading. This is kind of what I'm working on in the background. But so with take profit trader, you can have 5 accounts at once. Now, this is cool because this is part of Pam's plant and the nuclear explosion growth, meaning you can copy trade. So with prop firms and with take profit trader, you can have up to 5 accounts and what are called pro accounts. And those are the ones where when you're in a pro account, you make money, you get to keep it, all that. But with copy trading, you could have 5 accounts. So you could make one trade. So I'm going to do this. We had Roger was his name on the live stream yesterday. And he was with, he had 5 accounts, and in one account, he made $2,000. So throughout the course of his day, his decisions led him to making $2,000. But because he had 5 accounts and he copy traded, that $2,000 was copied to those other 4 accounts. So sure, he only made $2,000 in that one account, but because he copy traded, he actually had a $10,000 day. And that is the power. That's the nuclear explosion growth of prop firm trading and copy trading is, sure, you're only making one trade, but when you copy that same exact trade to your 4 other accounts, you can see how quickly things can add up. Now, of course, that's a two-sided coin. If you show up, you lose your mind, you're a degenerate, then yeah, things can work against you in a hurry too. But for the person that's got a strategy, for the person that is being disciplined, I mean, like I said, the nuclear explosion growth potential is crazy with copy trading. So with that said, the question is, would it be good to have several accounts going? And I believe absolutely, because so if you have 5 accounts, because like I said, the max you can have for that is 5. So here are your 5 pros. But in the background over here, if you have other accounts, so let's say over here, then you have 5 pass tests. So you've also now passed 5 accounts. So part of prop firm trading is you're going to blow up accounts. You're going to lose an account, but that's okay because your risk is very minimal, because your risk at most is a couple $100 at most with Take Profit Trader. So if you blow up an account, sure, you lose the account and you just lose the couple $100. But in this situation, if you have 5, and again, part of it is, and even if you're not copy trading, but let's say you have a day and boom, you lose 2 accounts. 2 accounts gone. Well, now all of a sudden you can reach back here and be like, okay, well, let me activate 2 of these. So now all of a sudden by activating them, you're back up to 5 pro. And then over here, yes, you would drop down to now you have 3 passed because you just took 2 of them. So it's no longer 5. So yes, I think there's a lot of value. And once you max out your pro accounts, to keep passing other accounts. That way you alleviate the burden of, okay, I don't want to blow up this pro account because then I got to go back through the test phase again. But if you're like, wait a second, I don't have to go through the test phase again because I have some of these waiting and ready. So I think it's a little bit of a smoother way that you can approach it. So who was that? I don't even, I can't even remember who just asked. RM, I think. Channel RM. So yes, Channel RM. I think that's where my mind's at. I think there's a lot of value in that. Yeah, exactly. Well, before prop firms didn't have the margin to trade futures. So yes, prop firms make it actually affordable to do so. Will MTM trading and trader status silo copy trading and count all? I'm not quite sure what you're saying here, PD Finance. Do you only recommend trading in standard market hours for futures? Futures, they're closed on Saturdays. And then they close 1 hour every day. So they'll close on, now right now we're in a unique time because it's Good Friday, so all markets are closed today. But assuming no holidays, they close Friday at 5 p.m. and then they'll open back up on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then during the week, they'll close at 5 p.m. Eastern and then open back up at 6 p.m. Eastern. So every day they're closed for an hour. Yeah, your logic's for sure making sense. Yep. Good questions. What happens when your account is removed? When you lose, do you still pay the monthly fee? No, your account is gone. Yeah, Hoover, I don't know if you're still here, Hoover, but you said you lost the deal. What deal did you lose and are you waiting for? As far as I'm aware, the same deal is still going on of when you join. To use copy trader, you only have to pass 1 account or you need past all 5. Well, in order to copy trade, you need to have at least 2 passed accounts, right? Because each account requires you to get passed to move it from, to add a little bit of context for people not familiar. So you start, and this is the same for all prop firms, but you start in a test phase, and then after you prove yourself as a trader, you pass the test, you move into a pro account. So Ronnie T, In order to copy trade, well, you do need more than one account because that's what you would be copying to. So you would have to bare minimum pass 2 tests to have 2 pro accounts, and then you could copy trade those 2 accounts. So in other words, you make the one trade, but if you copy it to the other one, so if you make $100, well, but you copy traded it, well, now actually you're up $200 because you made $100 in each one of those accounts. So yes, you do need multiple accounts in order to copy trade. After you lose the account, you can reset, though, for cheaper than the initial fee, right? Correct, SM. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. And this is why, in my opinion, I'm just thinking through it, but I think I'm doing this. We're kind of talking prop firm strategy a little bit, but in my opinion, the 150K is the best way to go about it because of this. We all have to operate under the premise you're going to blow up accounts. That is just part of it. The best prop firm traders out there, they blow up accounts. That's just part of it. And that's okay because, again, your risk is very minimal. But with Take Profit Trader, when you want to get the account back, when you want to try again, you can do so, and that's known as kind of resetting the account. And a reset with Take Profit Trader is $100. So if we are operating under the premise that there we go. If we're operating under the premise that you're going to blow up an account and you're going to want to reset, and if it's $100 across the board, what do you want that $100 to be getting you? Do you want that $100 to be getting you $25,000 of purchasing power or $150,000 in purchasing power? Now, yes, to be fair, the 150K is going to be more the first time you make the payment. But after that, it all goes back to the same. It's $100. So the $100 is going to be, do you want that 100 for the 200 or for the 25K of purchasing power, or do you want it for the 150K? Now, some people may be like, no, I like this account for this reason, and that's totally fine. I'm just thinking from a frugality standpoint, in my mind, it seems to make sense for if you want the best bang for your buck being defined as how much purchasing power can you get, and under the assumption that you're going to blow up an account. So when it comes back to reset, do you want the $100 getting you $25,000, or do you want that same $100 to get you $150K? But yes, you are able to reset for the $100. Yep. PD Finance, again, same. I'm not quite sure. Will MTM trading and trader status silo copy trading count all? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Thank you, Market Moves, Sam. Yeah, you just cancel it. Again, going back up in the chat room. I'm not ignoring anybody. If I missed your comment, if I've gotten to it, we've just had, now we have more people here. So the chat box is picked up. Like when I said, when we first started, we had 20 people here. I was like, hey, now's the time. Now's the time to put in a request because it's going to pick up. All right, I think I'm... Hello, Clay. Good morning. Hey, Noah. Jake, thanks for your opinion on which account. Which do you like in terms of... I don't know if I necessarily look at it in terms of leverage, Jake. I would look at it in terms of how much cushion do you have before you technically fail the test. So with the 25,000, you would be considered to fail the test, meaning they would take the account away from you, and at that point you can get the account back for the $100 reset fee that we were just talking about. So that one, you have $1,500 in wiggle room. So you can lose $1,500. And I should note real quick, for those who are like, this sounds like a scam. How does this work from the business perspective? How can the company only collect 105 from the client and then allow that client to lose $1,500 of their own money? Very good observation, very good question. All this is occurring in a simulated environment. So there's not any actual money lost, just the same as there's not actually any money made, because I've had some people say, wait a second, so you make $1,500, but then you don't get to keep any of that? All you get to do is move to the pro account? What a scam. No, because there's no money even being made here. So keep in mind, this is in a simulated environment, which makes sense, right? For a test phase and all that, of course, they're going to want to keep it simulated. But so in other words, in terms of, I don't really think about things in leverage, but I think it's, well, how much wiggle room do you want? So right there, you got $1,500 wiggle room. If you go to the 50K, now you would be able to lose $2,000. So that's your wiggle room before you would technically fail the test. And then just to hop to the other extreme side of things, the 150K, you got a whole lot more wiggle room because now you're allowed to lose $4,500. Now, yes, you do have to make more to pass, and maybe you're like, $9,000? What? I'm telling you, futures move and they move very quickly. It is very possible to get $9,000. In fact, I just passed 150K. In 3 days, I got up to the $9,000. Now, yes, I was trading very aggressive, but like I said, futures move and they move quickly. And with the 150K account, you can get very aggressive. So don't look at that. And I should note that the goal should be not to rush, but to not take your sweet old time. You don't want to have it take more than a month to pass the test, because I don't want to see you have to pay that fee again. Because once you get into the pro account, so again, once you move from here to here, there are no more monthly fees. The test phase is where the monthly fee exists. So that's why I say get through it. Don't rush. Now, the test has to go for 5 days minimum anyways. So there's no need to try to YOLO. Well, they don't allow you to YOLO because, again, they want to see, are you actually some sort of consistent trader, or did you just get lucky on one trade? That doesn't really prove anything. So I will say to get through it within a month, which is, again, plenty of time. But to circle back to the question, which is a good one, I don't really look at the leverage in terms of how much can be bought and stuff. I look at, well, how much wiggle room do you have before it would be considered a failed test? Does that make sense, Jake? Mohammed, is past the challenge and get funded prop firms, is it still simulation and not real trading using real money in the market? Yeah, no, it's, so right here you can see. So test is simulated environment, pro is simulated environment. So yeah, you're using fake money, but if you begin to make money, they will pay you. And that's the whole thing with prop firms. Hey, do they actually pay? And that's why I like Take Profit Trader. I've been paid by them. Many members of my community have been paid by them. And yes, they do pay, and they pay very quickly, and they have great payment rules. But then in the Pro Plus, that's where it is officially, I mean, you are in the live market. So that's the ultimate goal that they're trying to get you to. They're trying to get you from test to pro, and then from pro to Pro Plus. And, that's the natural sequence of things. After you pass the test, you get payout. Yes, the pro account is where when you start to make money, you keep it once you hit the buffer and then get above the buffer. And then that's where it becomes a question of, do you leave money in the account to continue to build that buffer, or do you just pay yourself? Because some people say, no, build up that buffer. That way, in theory, you could take a $5,000 loss, but you still wouldn't lose the account. Other people would say, no, just pay yourself. Pay yourself as quick as you can and often as you can. So that's, there's a lot of kind of theory and thoughts that go into that. How to go pro to Pro Plus. After you make $10,000 in this account, they're like, all right, you're a really good trader. Into the Pro Plus account you go. So after making $10,000 here, they move you into Pro Plus. So the MES and SPY are basically the same charts. Do they experience the same? No. I mean, they're similar, but the MES you would just want. I mean, you can watch the SPY if you want, but I just like it. Just watch the MES straight up. Yes, thanks. Good. Very good questions. Very good questions here. And I want to just reiterate about how, because I know I've been talking about blowing up accounts quite a bit, and I'm kind of nonchalant about it. Like, hey, yeah, blowing up accounts is fine. And I get it. That sounds bad, because if you're used to using your own money and you hear blowing up your account, you're like, wow, that'd be a lot of my money just gone if I blew up an account. But this is where the added risk control comes in, specifically in regards to how you protect your own money. Because within the prop firm world, and let's just go with the 50. So out of your pocket, it requires $119. Now, if you do lose $2,000, then you lose the account and they take it away from you, which again, you can't always get back for $100 again. But so let's just say we have the same exact situation, but then Pam's plant versus not. So let's say you're day trading stocks or crypto or something, and you lose your mind. You have a bad day. We all have dumb days. You break rules. You go on tilt. You revenge trade. Or not seems that. Let's say you're actually behaving. So it's not even one of those days, but you just get stuck in a crazy move. So crazy move. You're like, whoa, that was nasty, man. And we've all been there. So that's the situation. In the prop firm world, if it cost you $2,000, okay, it cost you $2,000 in the sense of you lose the account, but did you actually lose $2,000 out of your pocket? You did not. You only lost the $119. But if this was your own money that you're using and you get stuck in that exact same situation of, whoa, that was a wild move, and you lose $2,000, well, in that situation, you literally lost $2,000 of your own money because it was your own money that you're using. So that is where you have the built-in risk nature of just protecting your own capital. So if a big crazy move happens, or if you go on a day where you're like, because we've all been there as traders, like, what was I thinking? Why did I make a mess? Why did I go on tilt? Wow, I revenge traded. Wow, I was breaking rules. I didn't honor stop loss. I just one of those bad days where you look back and you say, what was I thinking? Well, and with your money, every single penny that you lost because of those mental errors on your part is your own money that you're losing. With prop firm world, yeah, you'll lose thousands of dollars and you will lose the account. But again, did you actually lose those thousands of dollars? No, you just lost the cost of the account, which in this situation would have been $119. Or if it's like a third time that you do it, now you're only losing $100 because it's only $100 to reset. So I would rather have a whoops, that was dumb, but I learned a lot. I'd rather have that cost me $119 as opposed to $2,000. All right. Looks like I'm caught up. So I'll dig back and we'll find another chart to go through. Again, if you have a stock, futures, Forex, crypto chart you want to take a look at, let me know. If you have any other questions on the prop firms or Pam's plant or anything like that, let me know. And if you have not yet, hit that like button. I'd like to at least get this up over 60 or over 50 likes. So if you are enjoying, hit that like button. Good morning, Clay. Can you explain what the best strategies you use when you trade? Is better to do just MNQ for beginners? Good question. Yes, from a prop firm futures trading standpoint, what you're going to want to start with is the MNQ. Well, in my opinion, the MNQ. MNQ. You could do the NQ, but the NQ is a volatile beast, and it's something that's just getting started. The goal can be to get to NQ, but I would start with the MNQ. The M stands for micro, which means the movements are going to be smaller. Now, the movements can add up very quickly still, but they're not going to be as volatile as the NQ. So now some people would say, no, start with the MES. The ES is basically the S&P 500. The NQ cares about the NASDAQ market. But I would say start with the MNQ. Get your bearings, get kind of a feel for things, find your groove, and then move to the MNQ. But this is also the amazing thing about Pam's plant, because right here, think about it. I'm only talking about one thing. When it comes to stocks and crypto and stuff like that, what do you have to do? Well, you have to go out there and you have to scan. You have to find what's the hot stock for the day, what's the hot crypto. Sometimes you have to pay for these scanners. I do realize that scanners come with brokerages, but even if you're not paying extra for a scanner, you still got to spend the time, right? I got to find what's moving today. What's this? What's that? With futures, nope. You just wake up, roll out of bed, you sit down, and you pull up, what you're going to trade, because what you're going to trade is going to be the same thing every single day. Because in the world of futures, the same thing every day is going to give you opportunity. So you know what you're going to pull up every day as a beginner, and that would be MNQ. And that's it. How nice is that? You roll out of bed, you plop down, MNQ, here we go. Now, some people might trade the MNQ and maybe the MES. Maybe, just maybe, somebody trades like 3 different futures contracts. But I don't know of anybody that trades 3s. I do know some people that will trade the MNQ and the ES. But you could, and me personally, I just do one. I do the NQ and the MNQ. But they're the same chart. 2 different contracts, but they move the exact same in terms of the chart. So, that is another beautiful thing. Beautiful thing is... save yourself time. No more scans. No more having to run. Find what's the hot crypto. What's the hot stock. None of that. Hey, Jim. I remember you from yesterday. Good to see you. Gaming with Purge Anarchy. Hey, how are you? Good question, though, Diego. What about the news rule? Yes, they will email you. And that's only in the pro accounts anyways, Richard. So once you move to the pro accounts, they'll email you and say, hey, there's a news event at this time. Don't trade. Don't trade 1 minute before it. Don't trade during it, or don't trade 1 minute after it. Interesting, I got a comment deletion warning in all of YouTube history. That was the first one. I'm not sure what that's in regards to. I got a YouTube deletion warning in all of YouTube history. That was the first one. Yeah, I don't know what that is in reference to. Jake, can you explain? I'm happy to try to explain, but I don't know. Like, I didn't delete anything, so I'm not quite sure. Can you explain the tax reporting part of Pam's plant? Am I correct in thinking you don't need to track each trade, you're just tracking payouts? Exactly, Jake. Yes. Good question. So tax reporting is easy. In the world of prop firms, the prop firm will send you a 1099 form. Anything that they pay you, 1099, here's how much we paid this person. and that's it. So you will take that 1099 form, that one form, and give it to your accountant. There you go. That's it. How nice is that? How nice is that? So firms, oh, whoops. Now, I do still recommend them for people. So, I mean, if you insist on being a day trader in stocks and all this other stuff, I mean, okay, that's fine. This is who I've always recommended to with, green trader tax. But firms like this, yeah, they got to be worrying. They've got to be worrying about this whole Pam's Plant thing. Now, I'm just starting Pam's Plant, so start to spread it. Hashtag Pam's Plant. But this is not good for them. This is not good for them at all. They are living on the fact that taxes for day traders of and even futures. If you're day trading your own money, you got a lot more stuff going on from a tax perspective. So, but companies like this, got to think they're probably getting a bit worried. I agree, Tom. Smash that like button. We're still not even up to 50 likes. Let's get at least over 50 on this thing. Come on, nah. So MNQ and NQ charts, exactly the same way on the charts. Yes, they're the same chart. They're the same. They're just, the contracts themselves move differently. One is more volatile than the other. All right, caught up. But yes, good questions, good questions, good questions. All right, sorry, I thought that was kind of weird. All right. So on that note, well, since we're talking so much about futures anyways, let's just take a look at the NQ. Or let's take a look at the MNQ, because that's what I would recommend people start with. So let's just look at the MNQ. We'll start on the daily time frame. Get rid of these lines for right now. So yeah, headed into this new week, we do have... Any other questions on the prop firm strategies or just prop firms in general? By all means, let me know. I am a big believer in them. I think mathematically, they make the most sense. Would you say the end goal of a prop firm were to be to create your own capital for a personal account? No. Nope. I would say that if somebody else is going to bear the majority of the risk, if you lose your mind, keep on going with that. Because I would hate for you to reach that goal of, I have this $50,000 funded account of my own money. Sure, I get to keep 100% of the profits, but you also get to keep 100% of the losses. So that's a situation where I'm not quite sure the trade-off is there. Again, sure, if you use your own money, you do get to keep 100% of the profits. But if you have a bad day, an off day, you get stuck in a bad move. I mean, this move right here, we all remember this one when that candle happened on that day when the tariff stuff was announced, and it just shot straight up. People that were in really any market, but especially the futures market, because futures can move fast. But if you're using your own money on the short side, even with stop losses, that whole account could have been gone just like that. All of your money gone just like that. Because even with stop losses, there was so much slippage because that move happened. So I would say, you know what? I'd rather forfeit some of my profits in order to get the insurance policy of not accepting all the risk. Right, exactly. You can just build the funded account. Yeah, exactly. So just to reiterate, to provide full context of people, because nobody's crazy for making the argument. Well, I'd rather keep 100% of my gains. Why would I want to give up 80 or why would I want to give up 20% of my gains in the pro account or 10% of my accounts in the pro plus account? And that's a fair question. You don't get to keep 100% of your gains, but it boils back to the question of, do you want to bear 100% of the losses too? Whereas in this situation, you don't bear 100% of the losses because you could have a $2,000 loss. So again, even with a pro account, if you break the rules, then they will take the account away from you. Again, you can always go through the test phase again and get it back. But on a really bad day or on a really just crazy move that you're actually behaving well, but you just get stuck in some sort of crazy movement. And if you're to lose $2,000, again, if you're using your own money, that's $2,000 of your own money. You want 100% of the gains? Fine, but you're also going to eat 100% of the losses. Where in this situation, Did you lose 2,000? Actually, no. You only lost the cost of the account. So in my mind, I think the trade-off is worth not eating 100% of the losses in order to just sacrifice 10, 20% of the gains. No, I'm not in a Pro Plus account, Jim. I'm still new to the prop firm thing. I got started back in November. After years of my community saying, Clay, get into futures. Clay, futures through a prop firm. Do it. And because I'm a stubborn donkey, I pushed back for quite a while. So I'm still quite upset at myself, actually, that it took me that long to finally just give it a try and then give the prop. Now, prop firms, I think I was justified to be super sketchy or super leery of because it is kind of sketchy. So like 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of members were like signing up for these prop firm things. And I'm thinking, are you guys about to get scammed? They're like, maybe, but it's only a couple $100. So worst case scenario, I'm scammed out of a couple $100. But over the past 2 or 3 years, people have not only not been scammed, they've gotten paid. Michelle from the community, she's my favorite story. She with prop firm profits, with payouts, went on, I don't know how long, about 6 months ago or so, maybe even longer. But she went on some like 15-day European vacation. So I was like, okay, I'm lowering down my skeptical level towards prop firms. But I still only recommend 2 because, yes, there are some scammy prop firms out there. So that's why I stick with the ones that I know have a track record. I know members that were willing to be lab rats for, and kind of just like, I'll be a lab rat. Let's see if they pay out, and they have paid out. So, because I haven't made it that, Jim, I'm just because I have not made it to that point, but I'm trying something different that I don't want to get on here just because it's probably not applicable to most people. I'm in more of a kind of a unique situation. Ratel, good morning. Thoughts on any other firms? I like Apex just because they are the biggest. They pay, their payment sequence is a little squirrely. But like I said, I call them, if you are a beginner to the prop firm world, I would say avoid Apex. The goal should be to get to Apex because eventually, yeah, you can trade multiple prop firms too. So you could be trading a bunch of accounts all at once. But I say take Profit Trader because their rule book, very, very small. Apex's rule book, very, very thick. And it's, again, that doesn't make them a scam or anything like that. But my argument is get comfortable with prop firms, get comfortable with futures. Take Profit Trader is great for that. They have a great payment policy. They pay you whenever you want in any amount. Apex does not pay you whenever you want in any amount. Again, that doesn't make them a scam. They do pay, but that is what separates Take Profit Trader from a lot of other firms is if you make $5,000, Take Profit Trader will be like, okay, yeah, you can request $5,000 whenever you want. Apex will be like, no. You can only request money every 10 days, and you can only request up to $2,000 that you've made. Again, they do pay, and then that stuff changes as time goes on, but it's not exactly clean cut. So you can see that seems a little bit, rough around the edges. No, exactly. That's why I say Apex, not a scam, but more for the advanced prop firm trader that has a better understanding. Where Take Profit Trader, like I said, if you make money, then you can request that money anytime you want and in any amount that you want. And then, when they've paid me, it's very, very quick. The almost scary how technology is these days, where after the payment is approved, then boom, like 5 minutes later, it's pending in my checking account. So those are the 2 that I'm putting my name behind. So yeah, like I said, if you want to support the channel and you are an advanced trader, and maybe you need some Apex accounts for whatever reason, and you want to support the channel, then yeah, code Clay. I thank you in advance for that. No, I do not recommend that, Mohammed. I have not heard good things. So much so that comment I'm going to go ahead and remove. Let's see, where were we? Again, I'm going to remove that one. I have, heard, not like I said. Yeah, exactly. Apex just paid some trader $2.4 million. Yeah, exactly. So they'll pay, but it's not for the beginner trader. Excuse me, beginner prop firm trader. No options trading for you anymore? Finance and Chill, do you day trade options? Finance and Chill, are you a day trader of options? Key phrase there being day trader. Potentially stupid question. Well, I'm a potentially stupid person, so we're in good company. If I have promoted a pro, I copy trade my 150 trades into my 25K and break the rule of the 25K side. No, they wouldn't let you. They would only they would deny the order. Like they'll let you do that up until the proportions no longer make sense. And if the proportions no longer make sense, then you'll just get an error order. They won't let you put in that order. Okay, Finance and Chill. Can I submit to you that you're making a very poor decision? Why are you day trading options? Finance Chill, let me ask you this. How do you feel about theta? What is your opinion on theta as a day trader of options? And I say theta. What are your thoughts on that? Hey, Clay, can we sign up this holiday weekend? I'm not sure. What are you asking about? My community or for the prop firm? I appreciate you trying to capitalize on affiliate marketing. I notice that you are... no, I'm actually promoting a good idea. That just happens to be I get paid for. So no, Jim, I'm going to nitpick a little bit. I want to help people. And if I can help people by getting paid to help people, then that's even better. And Pam's Plant does help people. So I am capitalizing on a good idea. And there is some affiliate marketing that does come with it. I noticed that you are introducing a new affiliate as well. No, not really. So you get free accounts. I have gotten nothing from Apex. I was about to do TA and MNQ. I'll probably get there. Okay, well, Finance and Chill, you are being mathematically provable stupid with your money. Now, not you stupid, but just logically speaking stupid, because theta, as you know, as an options trader, is the worst thing ever. But you could be moving yourself into something that trades better than options anyways, and there is no theta. So I would highly, highly recommend you consider moving into day trading futures through a prop firm, because day trading options literally is the dumbest thing you can do because of theta. Because why are you choosing to put yourself in a situation where sideways action hurts you? Is there a theta in 0DT options? Yeah, there's theta, and theta is a monster. Theta is the biggest monster in 0DT options. Like, if you are not right away, roast city. So right here, Finance and Chill. This action here, as a options trader, sideways action is a killer. Why go through that? Not to mention, I don't know your financial situation, Finance and Chill, but do you have to deal with the pattern day trading rule too? So like I said, do you have more than $25,000 Finance and Chill? So the pattern day trading rule isn't a problem? Thanks, Clay. So I'm so glad I checked in with you recently to go the TPT route. Hope you have enjoyed hard. Yes, thanks for you, Jake. Good questions. Thank you for those. Help really kind of keep things alive and bring an interest. Gotcha. Thanks for looking at that already funded on FT. I don't know what FTML though is. Also heard Ackman's remark on 0D. Okay. Well, first off, congratulations, man. That's awesome that you have $25,000 saved up and that's not a problem for you. Well done. But still, you have two problems. You have theta that you're working against, and if something crazy happens, all of your money is at risk. But with a prop firm, if something crazy happens, and let's just say you lose $2,000, yes, you would technically lose the account. They would take it away from you, to which you can purchase again. But in your world right now, using your own money in day trading options, if poof, something crazy happens and it's a $2,000 loss, that's $2,000 of your own money. In the world of futures trading through a prop firm, your only risk would be the cost of the account, which would be $119. So mathematically speaking, I would say it makes more sense if you're going to get stuck in a crazy move. You might as well get stuck in a crazy move where you only have $119 at risk as opposed to potentially $2,000 of your own money. So again, and that's in combination with just stop dealing with theta. There's zero reason to deal with theta. So thank you for being open to that. And we just had a couple people already say they used to day trade options and they moved to futures and they're like, wow, futures are so much better, so much better. Do you have to move a complete point on futures for a contract to move up, or does a half point move? Well, technically speaking, Richard, things move in ticks. But with as volatile as the MNQ is, it's just easier to talk about points. But yes, you could sell for a quarter point, you could sell for a half a point, you could sell for three-fourths a point, or you could sell for a point. They move in 0.25 ticks. So it just means they move in 2.5 increments, but in futures lingo, that's called a tick. But like I said, they move so quickly that like 4 ticks, which would equal 1 point, in my mind, it just makes way more sense to just talk about things in terms of points. BC, come on, BC. We have the conundrum again. People ask a question, I reply to it, and then they give no interaction, and then now you're asking it again. So did you ask that question originally, BC, and then just leave your computer? Is that what happened? I'm curious, because I already answered that. And I got no reply, and now you're asking it again. So walk me out of a curiosity point from a live streamer standpoint. Okay. People ask questions, and then they just walk away. That befuddles me, which, by the way, is a great word. If you've never used the word befuddle, try it. You'll love it. It's fun to say. I'm not sure. What are you asking? Can we sign up? Where do you sign up for my community? Sign up for my classes? Are you talking about signing up for a prop firm? What exactly are you asking about? And I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, but I guess yeah, you can sign up anytime. There, you can get signed up. Yep. You'll make way more money with futures if you can control yourself. Patience. Yes, nope, that is true. And you're 100%. But that if you can control yourself, that applies to stocks. That applies to crypto. That applies to anything you do in life. If you can control yourself. Correct. You will have a much better chance at success crossing a busy street if you control yourself via looking both ways before you cross the street. So yes, that applies to many things in life. All right, I did say we're going to take a look at MNQ. So this is, again, for people, if Pam's plan is convincing you to move into futures, this is what I would suggest starting on is the MNQ. So MNQ looking at here. Moving into this next week. Again, I keep asking questions. These have been great questions. We've had some people ask about kind of maybe some theories. Hey, I'm thinking about this. Does this make sense within a prop firm strategy? I love that stuff. I love to think through these things because iron sharpens iron. So I'll keep my eye on the chat box for that. But right now we do have, in fact, let's actually get this so we can track it down to the lower time frames. In the very near term, we do have a bull pennant pattern. So there's the support part of the pattern. I guess really we could use that. Yeah. We'll just use that trend line for it. So there is a resistance part of the pattern. So I mainly just want to focus right here. On this part of it. So there is our resistance. There is our support. There is the upwards move. Here is a golf hole down here. So for you golfers, there is the bull pennant. Now, just because something's bullish doesn't mean it's going to go up. However, in this situation, it's nice. It's a nice looking bull pennant. However, it is occurring in an overall downtrend. So that kind of rains on the parade again. Now, that doesn't mean that the bull pennant can't work out and can't get a break to the upside. But would it be shocking? Would it catch people off guard if this thing all of a sudden failed and broke to the downside? No, I don't think anybody would be like, whoa. Where did that come from? I didn't see that coming. I don't think anybody would kind of default to that. So yes, we are headed with a bull pennant into this next week. However, you do have to keep in mind the context that it is occurring in an overall downtrend. So that's more so the daily. MES versus MNQ. I like the MNQ. MNQ moves better. And as day traders, that's what we want. We want that movement. Now, if you were to tell me, well, I'm going to go with MES, I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, I wouldn't. Now, if you're like, well, no, I'm going to go day trade options, then I'd be like, well, you're a mad person. What are you doing? Poor life choices. Like, mathematically provable, you are being an idiot with your money. But if you tell me that you're going to the MES, I say, okay, that's cool. But yeah, I would go with MNQ because it does move better. And as a reminder, hit that like button if you're enjoying. If we can drive these likes up, then we'll do more of these where it's just kind of laid back, kind of just shooting the breeze, talking strategy, talking charts on days like this when the market is closed. But so now let's drop down to the hourly, and remember this right here. These lines are coming from the daily time frame. So on the hourly, I could see getting a trend line drawn in here and kind of use this area as an anticipation breakdown of where the price could eventually head. And it's a double whammy of support. Whammy number one, yes, is the trend line itself. Whammy number two is the pink line there, that 200 period simple moving average. But you can see they're basically the same level. So it's kind of more so like a little support zone. So if the price can clear through that area, no guarantees, but is it rational to think the price could then venture down and at least test that? Now, whether it bounces or breaks down is kind of irrelevant, because as a day trader, which again is what I am advocating here for Pam's plant, day trading futures through a prop firm. So from a day trading standpoint, this distance from here down to here, I mean, this right here, that's plenty of wiggle room. That's plenty of wiggle room to pull out, whether that's a scalping trade or some other strategy. That's a lot of space. Now, of course, if it breaks down through there and picks up more momentum, that's great. That's even better. But my point here is that even if it just bounces, that distance right there, that could make some sense. Where a high volume break of this trend line, would then potentially at least send it down to that area. Hoover, my question to you: you said you lost out on a deal with TPT. What deal did you lose out with? And you're right. I have 6 kids. Please use code Clay. If you don't use code Clay, you're savage, and you are pro child starvation, because the only way my kids are going to eat is if you use code Clay. And I have 6 of them. So again, I will say this again. You are pro child starvation if you don't use code Clay. You are a savage person. Code Clay so my 6 kids can eat. I most never go long below VWAP or... Yeah. Nope. Yeah, do what you got to do. But so that's hourly time frame. And then resistance-wise, keep an eye on that 50 period moving average. You can see that it almost smells bad, right? Because right here, it never quite hit it, but it almost like it got a whiff. What do I smell? I'm out of here. Right here, what do I smell? I'm out of here. What do I smell? I'm out of here. So apparently kind of a stinky moving average right here, behaving as resistance right now. So you're going to want to keep an eye on that. Diego, just got an account with your code. Awesome, Diego. What purchasing power did you get? I'll walk through here real quick to make sure that you understand how it's going on. The 50K, okay, cool. So there, we'll come back to 30. But Diego, so real quick, so you understand, with the 50K, you paid this. You want to pass the test in a month so you don't have to pay this again, because after that, the test goes away. But if you don't pass, that's okay. When you get it back, it'll be $100. So you want your goal now is to make 3,000. You are not allowed to lose 2,000. But also, there's the 50% consistency rule, which means you're not allowed to make more than 50% of your profit target. Your profit target is $3,000. So let's make sure you understand. In a single day, you're not allowed to make more than 50% of your profit target. So how much, Diego, are you allowed to make during the test phase in a single day? Now, as a note, once you move to the pro account, there's no limits. You can make as much as you want every single day. So, Diego, let's make sure you understand the 50% rule. 50% rule states in a single day during the test phase, you are not allowed to make more than 50% of your profit target, and your profit target is $3,000. So how much are you not allowed? $1,500. There we go. See how easy the rules are to understand? So there you go. Now, don't hold overnight. So make sure that you, by the time the market closes every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, make sure you don't have any contracts. That's another little minor rule. But besides that, you're good to go. You're good to go. That's how straightforward it is. Very straightforward. So good job, Diego. Welcome aboard. Have you ever traded futures before, Diego? If not, what are you coming from? What did you used to trade? All right, let's hop back down to the 30-minute time frame. See if we can. Never traded futures. Oh, you're gonna love it. What did you used to trade? 30. Yeah, 30 minutes still. This trend line here is looking very, very interesting. Oh, stop. Oh, boy. You're going to love it. You are going to love it. You can, but your total PT just moves up. Oh, that's true. Thank you, Sam. You can make more than 50%. That is true. But then they readjust your profit target, and you don't want to have to deal with that. So you're right, Sam. I just try to keep it very simple and just tell people, just don't do it. But to be fair, you're right. It's not the end of the world if you do. Uh-oh, we got a spammer. Oh no, we're getting hit. We're getting hit. Hide. Oh no. Hide. Oh no, we're getting hit by a spam bot. Hide. How do I make this go away? If there's any other mods in here, please help me just hide the user. I think that's the best way to go about it. All right, I think I got them all. I'll keep a close eye on the bot. Get out of here, bots, you losers. We should feel bad for them. Like, they're so pathetic in life that they have to do that. Yeah, you got to pity them. Like, how bad must your life be if that's where you got to go? You got to try to do that. This is the first time it's ever happened like this. We've had the 119, 100 monthly got mad and canceled. My fault, got trade, got it back, get it back. No, that's still going on right now. Hoover, if you use code Clay, that deal is literally still going on right now. That's why I was so confused. You're saying you lost the deal. It's like, no, you didn't. It's still going on. Buy another account with the code Clay, and there you go. For those that are maybe watching this in the archive, I'm getting hit by bot spam right now. Is there a way where I can just cancel that out? Let me try something real quick. Maybe this will help. Okay, let me copy. Let me see if I can just block that. See if this gets it to stop or not. I don't know if this translates over to the live streams or not, but here we go. All right. So I've blocked out this XAI thing. We'll see if it now just won't allow them to do it anymore. Now they'll always change it'll be a new little, I don't even know what you want to call it, ticker symbol. So we'll see if if what I just did actually works, it should stop. But it's not stopping. What am I supposed to do? Like, how do you prevent this? Make it subs only to chat. How do I do that? Where do I do that at? Participants. No, I don't want that. Community moderation. Oh, wait. Okay, maybe I can do this. No, that's still this thing. Well, yeah. Okay, maybe I can add it in here. Will that block it out? Nope, that's not doing it. How do I change it to moderation activity? Man. Thank you, Mark. Can I trade any futures with prop firm like corn bonds? Yeah, you can. I don't know why you would, but you could. Yeah, no, not maybe, Hoover. You definitely did. Just buy another account, code Clay, so my kids can eat, and you'll be good to go. How do I change this to... Do I have to go back? I don't know how to change this to... I should be able to do it in motion, right? How do I make this subscribers only? This is where the newbie thing comes out. This is insane. Just visiting, not a sub yet, but wanted to say hi before I get kicked out of the chat. Why would you get kicked out of the chat? Are you even real life with Danny, or are you... Why would you get kicked out? Or am I talking to a bot right now? See, why can I not... Copy. Ooh, maybe I finally copied the right thing. Okay, I think I got it. I put the ticker, whatever that thing was, I put it as a block term. I suppose it could be a coincidence, but the fact that they just stopped as soon as I did that, I think... Okay, so next time I need to just make sure I copy and paste the right thing. I don't know, but I have not gotten one scammer from your group. I'm not sure what that's in regards to. I don't know what you mean by that. All right, I think we are back. Yeah, all right. So lesson learned. Okay, well, we're learning. I got to just make sure I copy the right thing so I can get that thrown up there to block it out. Bunch of... Yeah, you just got to feel bad for him. Got to feel bad for him. But then we have life with Danny. Are you real life with Danny? Just visiting, not a sub yet. I want to say hi before I get kicked out of this chat. Are you? Is that like a spam post? Are you trying to? Do you have like a page that you're trying to get people to? Let's see. That was a very... Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird comment. Why would you get kicked out? It's a bot, is it? Okay. Anyways, all right. We are back online after a spam bot attack. But I learned. We learned something. Thank you, Mark. And if there are any other mods, I think it might have just been Mark from what I can tell. But yeah, thank you, sir. Very helpful. Good. Never mind, I am a subscriber. Didn't realize it. YouTube is finally promoting your videos to me. I must have subscribed a long time ago. Yes, I'm real sorry for the confusion. She would get kicked because she wasn't a subscriber if you made it. Oh! That makes sense. Thank you, Bruce, for that explanation. But I'm glad I didn't. So that would not be necessary in the future. I just have to block the certain terms. So that's how that works. Is if I make it subscribers only, or can I just make it where only subscribers can chat? But that doesn't mean that people get kicked off, does it? I only thought that that just means that only subscribers can talk, but they could still watch. But again, I still consider myself a live stream newbie because it's only been doing this like a couple, 2.5 months or so. Well, sorry for thinking that you're a bot, but that seemed like a very bizarre comment. But now with this extra context, everything makes so much more sense. So I do apologize for accusing you of being some sort of bot. But all right, let's get back onto it. All can watch, but non-subscribers cannot chat. Okay, Mohammed, thank you. That's what I thought it was, but I guess I wasn't quite sure. Okay, well, and the numbers actually stayed pretty strong through that, unless a bunch of the viewers right now are just like bots waiting for their next turn. But yeah, we hung in there pretty strong. All right. So again, if you have a stock, forex, futures market, crypto that you want to look at, if you have a question about just trading, if you have a question about prop firm strategy, if you have a question about Pam's plant, let me know and we will look at it. We'll also take a look at MES right now because this is another future that I would see it making sense. Now it's going to be very similar to what we just looked at. So MES heading into the new week also has the bull pennant. Change that to green for support, and then just to make it easier to see, we have our resistance, we have our support, then you got the big move up right there. Golf hole down here, so there's the bull pennant. But as I was just saying for the MNQ, same general idea. Yes, this is a bull pennant, but unfortunately it is all occurring in the downwards trend. So that doesn't mean that for sure guaranteed the pennant is going to fail to the downside, but it would not be shocking. Ooh, that's interesting. So hourly, it's getting pinched by these two moving averages. We have the purple line there, 50 period. We have the pink line there, 200 period. So if we just envision and use these moving averages as trend lines, because they're converging, so as time goes by, it's going to look something like that. So space is running out. So in the next session, that's the big question. Who's ultimately going to win out of this battle? If the bears do win to the downside, then the next big question mark for them will be this green line here, which is that trend line that I just drew on the daily time frame. I will say if the price can break to the upside, and I'm not saying it goes straight up to this trend line, but I mean, there's definitely some room for this thing to find some momentum in the upwards direction, as that next key overall level of resistance wouldn't be from until up around that area. Again, not saying it shoots straight up there, but there's definitely some wiggle room. So keep an eye on that dynamic. Yeah, I mean, really, you don't necessarily even need those, the moving averages. If you just look at the, you get the idea of the wedge by connecting the highs there and then the lows right there. But yeah, like I said, a moving average is, another way you could look at that. Let's check on the 30-minute. Yeah, if you want to get a little bit more preemptive, I think we did this on the, this was on the MNQ too. But we have this area of support. So again, from a day trading standpoint, which is what I'm arguing for Pam's plant, day trade futures through the chart, or excuse me, through a prop firm. But if you get a break here, and even if it comes down here and then it goes boom, well, from the short side and a day trading standpoint, this distance from here to here, that's still plenty of wiggle room to pull out some profit. But again, that's not guaranteed that's going to bounce. If it comes down there and then continues to flush, I mean, that trade could get even bigger. But I'm just saying worst case scenario still would be opportunity from the short side. So yeah, just going back to the daily, that's pretty much what the markets are. There are bullish patterns out there on the daily time frame for a lot of these, but still occurring in that overall downtrend. So we'll have to see. Super newbie here. Super newbie's good. That's the best spot to be in the sense of you don't have any bad habits. Well, hopefully you don't have any bad habits yet. Can we analyze with the same indicators and chart? Yep. Anything with a price or value, and if that price or value goes up and down as time passes, then technical charts can and should be used. That is why technical charts are so powerful. All you need is a value, and if that value is moving around, then technical charts can and should be used. Good question. Wow, so 1 hour candle moves like 300 points. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's just... Oh, let's go to the MNQ. Yeah, let me show you. So this is what I mean when it... Or we'll just go to the NQ here to just kind of show kind of the potential that you can work up to. But part of Pam's plant, one of the reasoning for futures is the movement. So let's just... let's consider the movement here. So let's find a modest candle. Okay, there we go. Very, very small candle right here. So I'm doing this candle right here. So that candle... There we go. So this candle here, very, very modest. Went from 332 up to 364. So if my math is right, that is a difference of 32. So that's 32. Again, this is the candle right here that we're looking at right here. Which hopefully you can see, relatively speaking, pretty small candle. But the difference in those numbers right there, and again, I don't know how to trade futures. I'm teaching you right now. The only, like I said, a chart is a chart. Futures are very easy to calculate. So the difference in those two numbers is 32. Now, in futures jargon, that is 32 points. So that's a difference, a movement, a range of 32 points. Now, if NQ, 1 point equals $20 per contract. So 1 point equals $20 per contract. Meaning that that little range right there, we said was 32 points. And it's if each point is worth $20 per contract, we got to multiply that by 20. So right there, that range right there, $640 per contract. Now, what could you expect? Well, let's go to the bare minimum. So for the 25,000 purchasing power account, all it would take is $105. That account is telling you, for that account, you could get up to 3 of those contracts that we just talked about. So in other words, this calculation, which was per contract, well, you could have actually up to 3 of those. So we have to multiply that times 3. So that little distance right there, if you had 3, now I'm not saying you go and do this. I'm trying to just back up. I'm trying to support the claim, the M here of movement. You know, I'm making a claim, so I want to support it mathematically here and show you that I'm not just throwing stuff out there, that it's backed up with math and logic. So for the $105 to get the account that would allow you to get up to 3 of those contracts, then that would have been worth $1,900. But this is also just the 25,000. If you come down here to the 50,000, then that one contract, you could have had 15 of those. So you multiply that original number of like $640 times 15, you're getting the idea of just how much movement you can have in that little range right there. So, yeah, so see what I mean, Richard? I'm not exaggerating. I'm not lying. Futures move. Futures move. And that is also why I'm saying to start with the MNQ. Yes, the numbers won't be as big, but that's a good thing for right now because that also means the numbers won't be as big against you if you do something stupid or something like that. So, there you go. Well, I mean, Adele, with all due respect, that can be applied to anything in life. If you're not careful when you cross a busy street, you can kill yourself. Agreed. I'm so what are you confused about, Dank Sauce? What could you possibly be confused about? That was okay. I guess what are you confused about? I would love to clarify for you. Can you analyze S&P 500 at a monthly time frame? I can for sure with the $5 super chats. That's the benefit of the $5 super chat, but I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying I'm not going to commit to it right away. But now I'm very, very anxious to see what Dank Sauce is just so confused about. In my mind, I thought that math was pretty straightforward. I was bummed I lost 65,000, or not 65,000, $65 yesterday, but I would have blown the account seconds later. A good loss. Yeah, that's a very disciplined loss. Like, that just got me excited, honestly. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not lying with Pam's plan. Like, Pam's plan, like, the movement is there, but just start with the MNQ. All right. Dank Sauce must have been one of those people that says, I'm so confused, and then just left. So, all right. Well, we'll keep pressing onwards. Somebody asked about the SPY from the monthly time frame. So let's go to SPY. And yeah, well, let's go down to the monthly. So monthly, everything is perfectly fine. Because you can, and what do I mean by perfectly fine? Well, the price still isn't even that close to the 50-month simple moving average. Still well above the 200-month simple moving average. Yes, we do have a pullback right now. So we do have a multi-month pullback, but when you consider where we were not that long ago, even right there, if I draw that up, we're still basically with a bull flag. Yeah, things are looking a little sketchy, but again, I would be more concerned from the monthly time frame if the price actually violates and closes below the purple line, because we've had pullbacks before. Notice that pullback actually never did close below. It never closed below the 50-period moving average. Right there, spent a little bit time below it, but then came back up right there, bounced right off of it. So that's what I mean. From the big picture standpoint, nothing really that I see that would lead me to panic or think the sky's falling in quite yet. But again, if a price comes down there and starts to close below that level, that would be rough. Claude, you get choose one or the other. If you want both, then one of those will need a $5 super chat. We got to keep it fair. Or else I put myself at risk of one person like giving like 30 different requests and then nobody else gets one. Dank Sauce, I don't like people like you, Dank Sauce. I want to help you. I want to provide clarity, but you apparently said, I'm so confused, and then you just left. That's so disappointing. Your MA are to the charts. Why not have it for the... Your MA are to the charts. Why not have it for the daily? Well, you asked about the monthly, didn't you, Orpheus? Can you please analyze us at a monthly time frame? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. On a monthly time frame, that would be the 50-month simple moving average. If you would like to see what the daily moving averages are, then you would have requested a daily chart. But on the monthly chart, each one of these represents 50 months worth of time, 200 months worth of time. You are choosing CRSP. All right, let's go look at CRSP. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of these, nice pattern. You have the bull flag pattern. However, it's sketchy because it's occurring in an overall downtrend. Now, this isn't as nasty of a downtrend as some of these other ones. But the pattern is still nonetheless down below the 50 period. It's down below the 200 period. So it's, like I said, sketchy from that standpoint. Does not mean that this can't get a bullish breakout. Does not mean that it can't clear through those areas. All I'm saying is that this bull flag, while it does look good, would look way better if it was occurring in an overall uptrend. Let's drop down to the 30-minute. All right, so 30-minute, we have a very well-defined area of resistance right now. So we have this trend line, but even if you don't want to use the trend line right there, you can just see via the moving average right there, that purple line 50 period. Getting rejected there, rejected right there. So yeah, that'll be that first key battleground if the price is going to make and have a chance at any sort of momentum in the upwards direction. I'm also curious about do we have a trend line up here? We do. All right, so yeah, that's more of the overarching resistance. But before you put any emphasis or any focus on that one, I would argue the price first needs to prove itself in the near term. And how am I defining quote unquote prove itself in the near term? By getting above and staying above that purple line right there. Clay, quick question. How can you tell a short play from a long play on candlesticks or a fake? Franco, here. If you think that can be answered here on a live stream, I mean, that's like a super, super in-depth question. So if you want to learn, here you go. This is where those sorts of questions are answered. That is like basically, hey, Clay, how do I trade? That's essentially what you just asked right there. Good question. Great question, but nothing that can be answered within the scope of this. I mean, the setting for each MA, you can choose to have it set for the chart or a specified time frame. When I have my MA, it's set to daily. When I look at monthly. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know why you would do that, Orpheus. That's fine if you want to do that. I don't see any need to do that. If you care about the monthly time frame, then we'll look at the monthly everything. But that's my opinion. So if that's how you analyze things, more power to you. But yeah, I've never heard of anybody doing that. Again, that doesn't mean you're wrong. But I mean, for you to ask, why not have it for the daily? I mean, you kind of ask it like, hey, Claude, thank you. Now that's very impressive. When people do a super chat after I do the analysis, that's impressive because he could have just been like, hey, nice, I got it for free. I'm out of here. So that's I appreciate that. That says a lot about you. Thank you. NVDA daily. All right, let's take a look at the NVDA. Yeah, NVDA daily is looking sketchy in the sense of this trend line right here. So if you wanted a more of a conservative trend line, that's where it could be. Now, if you want just a ridiculously aggressive trend line, then you'd have to draw something like that. But do you see what I mean? That seems kind of ridiculously aggressive. Which is why I would say, this one right here that I had, I think is a little bit more conservative. Doesn't put quite the pressure on it. And that's where the price is right now. So let's just make it look a little different here. So right here, you can see the price is basically at the more conservative trend line right now. So it's more so kind of just, does this get some sort of bounce? We're right at the trend line. If it doesn't, then yeah, there's definitely some open area here for the price to pick up momentum. Not saying it is headed down to that area, but just saying that there's quite a bit of open real estate here where the price could, very realistically drift itself down to that area right there. So keep an eye, on that. In my mind, that's the main dynamic, and it's really as straightforward and simple as that. Headed into next week for Nvidia. What is it going to do with this trend line? Does it bounce or is it going to get more downside pressure? Now, in the 30-minute, I mapped this out on my top 10 video. So I did Nvidia at the end of the day yesterday. There is this falling wedge pattern, though. So the falling wedge pattern is in play. So, there's definitely a chance. I can see, if someone were to say, Clay, I think it's going to bounce off that level. I understand the logic. Again, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I understand the logic because their logic very well could be because on the 30-minute, so I think the daily time frame is going to bounce because on the 30-minute, we have this falling wedge pattern, which is a bullish pattern. Totally see that. Totally see that. So that is a more than valid thought process to have. All right, any other requests? We're up over 2 hours. I'll keep going for a little bit while longer. I don't mind, but if the interest is dropping off via either the likes or just simply activity in the chat box, then we can call it good. But if there's any other questions or whatever, I'd like to get this up to 75 likes. That would be encouraging for kind of an off day. So if you are enjoying and you have not used your like yet, and you're willing, hit that like button. Would like to, like I said, minimum get this up to 75 likes. That would be encouraging and will motivate me to come back on other days when the market's closed to do things like this. Thank you, Life with Danny. Danny? Is that Danae? How am I? Danae. Is it Danae or Danny? During these market conditions, what trade setups are you finding success? Can you GP over one recent trade? I cannot, Orpheus, just because I have an entire playlist of live trades at my site. Or you can just go back in the archive and watch. You can just watch the live streams, and you'll see you'll see what I've been doing. But if you want more of kind of a highlight reel, if you will, on my site, so if you go to claytrader.com/blog, then right over here there is in the category right there live trade. Lots and lots of videos that have shown live trade. So that would be the best way to do that. Some people say trend lines aren't very reliable because they are subjective. Instead, they use horizontal lines. What's your thoughts on that? I would disagree. I think, yeah, some trend lines are, but if you can find like obvious ones where like, I think most people would agree that's a trend line, then I would disagree with that. But yes, the more subjective the trend line gets, the less reliable it becomes. I'll say that again. The more subjective a trend line gets, the less reliable it becomes. But some are like, yeah, you know, everybody and their brother's uncle has connected those two dots. Like, let's see, maybe can we find one? Like right here, like this trend line here, I think is going to be pretty reliable. Again, do I think a beginner, somebody that's just learning about charts, that is just learning about trend lines, could draw this trend line? Absolutely. I think somebody that's just learning about trend lines would be like, okay, I see a high here. Okay, I see another high there. So let me connect those two. I think a lot of people would do that. Therefore, I think that this is a pretty not subjective trend line. I have no idea how I got that pink glove. That's okay. Danae. Okay, Danae, thank you for the pronunciation. Thank you for caring to say it correctly. Well, sure, yeah. I mean, I like the name. That's a cool spelling. Danae. I'm just not that smart, so I'm not. Names is not my strong suit in life. Names is not my strong suit, but Danae. Do you use volume in your thought process? It depends on the strategy being used. So sometimes, I guess, would be the proper answer there. What are some other popular markets out there right now? What's gold up to? Let's take a look at gold. Oh my goodness. Gold just continues to beast mode. Wow. And what is oil at right now? Ooh, oil. Oil with the bear flag. I guess I don't need to do that. I can just use actually more of a bear pennant because we got that flat right there. Then we got the move down there. Golfle up there. So yeah, oil, at least crude oil, headed into this next week with the bear pennant pattern. Do you own any precious metals? No. At this point in my financial journey, I'm after passive income. So I want things that pay me for owning them. I understand the argument. Well, that's a way to preserve wealth. All fine and dandy, cool. But I have other ways that I've chosen to preserve wealth, mainly land and real estate. So that's where I've gone kind of with the tangible assets. I've gone more into real estate. And the nice thing about real estate is it's twofold. It's a tangible asset, and it also pays you. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Whereas precious metal is only one of those. It preserves, it preserves your wealth because it's a tangible asset, but it does not pay you. In fact, if anything, you have to pay people to store it for you and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a negative passive income generator, which, like I said, we're all at different journeys in our we're all at different locations in our financial journey. So I am in passive. I want passive income. You don't hold stocks. What would make you think that I don't hold stocks? Out of curiosity. Before I answer that, you don't hold stocks. What makes you say that? Or what makes you question that? An interesting statement. So I will give you the answer, but I'm curious, what made you say that in the first place? You could be right, to be fair. Maybe I don't own any stocks, so maybe this question, your built-in assumption that I don't own nothing. Just asking if you do that on top of the real estate. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I own stocks, but I like a certain type of stock, stocks that pay me. So I like dividends. Again, am I going to blow up am I going to make a huge amount of money with dividend stocks? No, right? Because they're not growth stocks. They're kind of the boring ones. But I'm past that stage in my journey. I just want the cash flow. I want cash flow. Have you been buying any, well, I mean, I like SCHD. Again, boring. This is just an ETF. It's for dividends. I like GCow. Again, boring. This is just giving cash flow. It's just for companies that have good cash flow, pay dividends. So I'm a very boring investor. I am not. I'm Clay. You're never going to get explosive growth with these things. Yeah, I get it. You're right. I'm not after growth right now. I'm after that cash flow. I want to be able to wake up in the morning and be like, do I feel like getting out of bed today? And I want to be able to answer, no, I don't feel like getting out of bed today. Yet I still want all my bills to get paid, and I want food to show up on the table for my kids, and I want that to have a roof over their head. But yet I can stay in bed all day long. That's what cash flow will give you. Passive cash flow, that is. So that's what I'm after. Now, I have no plans of doing that because this is fun. I enjoy trading. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy all this sort of stuff. But, if there was ever a point where I was just like, I don't feel like getting out of bed today, I'd like to be able to lay in bed and still know that there's money coming in. Clay, are you still doing real estate as well? Yep. I'm actually working on a real estate deal right now, a private loan. So that's kind of where I'm at with real estate now. I like to be the bank, loan money, and then it's collateralized by the physical asset. So in kind of a sick and twisted way, you almost want the people to default, so that way you can take the asset and then sell it and kind of flip the asset itself. But if they don't default, then you get yourself a nice little interest rate. So yeah, I'm working on one right now, actually. Yeah, no, that's for people that are in real estate. Real estate's great, but if you can get into the private lending side of real estate, like for example, if a flipper comes to you and is like, I need money, and you have that money, that's awesome, because you can be like, all right, well, show me the deal. So they went out and they found the deal, they negotiated the deal, they did everything. So, and if they're good, now you have to also realize, so this is why you should start like flipping houses, so you can recognize what a good deal looks like. But I've done all that, but now I can like look at a deal and be like, all right, is this, because a good deal, so for example, so we are moving into real estate. A good deal is, let's say when something is done and finished and everything, just they can sell it for $100,000. And let's say, they bought it for, I don't know, $40,000, right? I don't know what it was a dump, ugliest house on the street, just something. They got it for $40,000. And you know that they're going to put, I don't want to get too far down the hole, but like I said, let's just say that what they bought is actually worth $100,000, but they got it for $40,000. But they want to improve it because, by improving it, then they can actually sell it for, let's just say up here, $150,000. So it's they found, these are called distressed sellers, distressed situations, and yeah, that's the hard part of real estate, to find really good deals that you can flip and make good money on. So I'm just making these numbers up, but let's say it's worth $100,000, they got it for $40,000, or let me put it this way: they can get it for $40,000, but it's got to be an all cash deal. But they don't actually have all cash. Well, that's where I come into play, and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I agree, that's a good deal. I don't really care about that number, but if I know that if I give you $40,000 and I'm going to charge you, let's just say 12% interest on it because it's a short-term loan, I actually I want them to not pay me back, right? Because if they don't pay me back, then I get to take the house, right? I'll foreclose on them. I get the house, and then I get to go and sell the house for the $100,000 that it's actually worth. So in that situation, I actually make $60,000. But worst case scenario, I'm making 12% on my $40,000 that I lend them, or that I loan to them. So that's where I would encourage you on the real estate side of things. If you can make your way towards the private lending side, that's where it's at. But in order to be a good private lender, you do have to recognize, is this actually a good deal? Because you could have flippers, you could have people bringing you deals. Hey, will you finance this for me? And you're like, no, man, that's a terrible deal. Like, I'm not going to finance that. Like, you got to be able to recognize that. But that is where, in my mind, in my opinion at least, private lending is where it goes. I have 4 children. You need that cash flow for college. Yeah. And food. They're not even, very soon I'm going to have my first teenager. And I can't believe how much she eats. So I'm pretty sure I don't know how I'm going to do it. Use code Clay. Because, man, kids eat a lot of food. And I got 6 of them. Use code Clay for my budget. Yes, Franco, I do. And I think, I understand why he does what he does because he's got his groove, but that's the dumbest way you could trade is what he does. And again, mathematically backed up because what he is doing requires a whole lot of money. In fact, I'm just going to, delete that out just because I don't want to talk about, and I don't want to use names, but people that are trading small cap stocks, super, super volatile. And to trade, I get it. Small cap stocks, very, very volatile. But remember what I just showed you not that long ago about the movement of futures? Like, futures make small cap stocks look like garbage. They look like they're paint drying. Truly, pure garbage. Like, if you want movement, why trade small cap stocks? Well, probably because you don't know about futures. Futures can move. But more importantly, if you're trading small cap stocks and those low floats and those short squeezes and all that sort of stuff, part of that game is getting dumped all over. Part of that game is you could be buying the top and that thing they could rug pull. I will concede they can move very quickly in your favor, but wow, they can move very quickly against you also. And even if you're using stops and being disciplined, the amount of slippage, things can get nasty in a hurry, which goes back to why Pam's plant is way better than small cap day trading because of this one right here, added risk control, and you protect your own money. So for the person that is doing small caps, and we'll just go, so the person that's doing small caps, yeah, you can get great moves, but you can get even better moves in futures. So far, those two things are equal. Small cap stocks give you great moves. Futures give you great moves, but even better. But we'll just assume right now, all else being equal, both small caps give you great moves. Futures give you great moves. But great moves can go both ways. So again, all else the same. Let's say one of those moves happens against you. And we won't even assume that you're degenerate gambling or you're revenge trading or you're forcing trades or you're FOMOing. Let's just assume that you just get stuck in one of those crazy movements. Again, to be fair, crazy movements, spikes happen in futures. They also very clearly happen in small caps, right? That's the whole point. Like, this is the Wild West. Things are going crazy. So again, all things are the same. Crazy move to the downside. Now, if you're doing Pam's plant with a prop firm, that downside move, sure, it may cause you to lose your account. Because in this situation with the 50,000 purchasing power, if you lose 2,000, you lose the account. That account is taken away from you. Well, you can always get it back for $100. But how much did you actually lose? Well, you didn't lose $2,000. You only lost the cost of the account, which was $119. Now let's go over to the small cap stocks where you're using your own money. If something like that happens and you lose $2,000, guess what? Here's where the difference. Because up until now, we've been assuming everything else is the same. But in this situation, because you're using your own money, yeah, well, that's $2,000 of your own money gone. So would you rather have one of those crazy movements cost you $119 out of your pocket or $2,000 out of your pocket? The math speaks very, very clearly. So yes, individuals that kind of make their living teaching, pushing, hey, and that's why I say trade what best fits for you. Use charts. That's why I teach charts. I don't teach a certain strategy. I teach charts. But what I am saying is if you are in the category of day trading, Pam's plant is the best idea, and I have yet to hear anybody refute it. So that is where that person that teaches that, I fully disagree. I understand why they're doing it. That person is very good at doing it. But to have like a newer person come and trade those volatile stocks with their own money where they get to eat 100% of the losses when there's something else that is just as volatile, actually even more volatile, it moves just as good, even better, yet you don't have to eat 100% of the risk because as I just walked through here, I think this makes way more sense. So hopefully that makes sense on that. Because there are a lot of people that show up. I don't have a lot of money. I want fast moving things. Therefore, I want small cap stocks. I get it. But that's all your money at risk too. How that account works. I succeed, I get the money. So it works like this, Franco. You first have to prove yourself as a trader, In the test phase, after you pass the test by meeting certain profit targets and then not losing certain amounts of money, you move into the pro account, and then the pro account is where you begin money that you make. You can begin to withdraw it, and you get to keep it. So that is how that works. First, got to prove yourself in the test phase. Get to the prop firm that I use and recommend. Call it the pro phase, and then from there, it works out very nicely. Another prop trade question: if I reach the profit level, do I go to pro the next day? Yes. Well, you have to. The test period is at least 5 days. So, but yes, after day number 6, if you've passed within the first 5 days, then yeah, you'll go to pro on the 6th. No, man, they're not going to give you the test for free, Franco. Come on now. Right here. This is the test. All these numbers I've been using, this is the test phase. They're telling you what the test is. So with the 50,000 purchasing power account, they don't want you losing more than 2,000, so you better be able to manage risk, which is also an argument here of Pam's plant. This is a good thing. Right here, add a risk control. Sure, we've talked about this a whole ton, how to protect your own money, but the rules, there are rules. And you know what? These rules will force you to think about things that matter most, which is risk management, risk control. And I think that is a good thing. I know, well, now I got these rules imposed on me. Yes, you do. But you need rules imposed upon you, and you actually need rules that are defined for risk management. So if anything, they are forcing you to think about the things that matter most, which is risk management. So if you lose more than 2,000, you fail. The goal is to make 3,000. Now you can take as long as you want. I always recommend get it done within a month so that you do not have to pay this monthly fee again. Because after you move from this test right here to the pro account, the monthly fee goes away. But that is how it works. These are this is how the test works for each one. Typical futures, these are for day trading. Pam's plant, this is an argument for day trading. Day trading futures through a prop firm. Swing trading and investors that's different categories. Pam's plant is an argument for the category of day trading. So day trading is where Pam's plant comes into play. They eat clay. I know. I'm looking forward to the garden. Do you trade crypto? No, crypto is pure garbage. Well, you didn't specify what kind of trading. To be fair to you, Mohammed, maybe you meant, do I swing trade crypto? No, I do not swing trade crypto. And I definitely don't day trade crypto, because day trading, anything other than futures, is a waste of your time and a waste of your capital. You're taking on too much risk than you actually need to. It makes no sense. And again, that's not like an emotional makes no sense. That is a very literal makes no sense from a logic standpoint. Like, it logically makes no sense based by math. And that's what math is, right? Math is like the backbone of logic itself. And I can logically prove, like I've been doing, that it makes no sense to day trade anything other than futures through a prop firm. I got my 7-year-old liking sushi. Yeah, that was a terrible decision, Richard. Yeah, that was a poor life choice on your part. Some dog, hey, if I wanted to play a hedging strategy for earnings season, I want to buy a call and put option at the same DT and same delta. Would this be a break-even trade or a way lower risk? Okay, Slump Dog, I don't know if you're still here, but I'll just send you to this because that's a way more in-depth question than what's here. But basically, you're asking about advanced options trading strategies, which I have a massive class on. That is part of that. So if you're interested, there you go. That would be where those answers are. That is well beyond the scope of what this is going on here. Do you think trading can one day scale up enough to the mins of money for you to just invest in bonds or other assets and have passive income that way? Do you think your trading can one day? Yeah, maybe. How long have you been buying? Oh, I already answered that one. Sounds glory. Yeah, okay. We caught up there. Is that test phase similar to paper trading? It is paper trading. Because all this right here, Steven, good question. Because maybe, Steven, you're like, wait a second. How can this company accept $119, but then for that, they're going to allow you to lose $2,000 of their own money? Good question. This is all happening on a simulator. During the test phase, yes, it is paper trading, but you're proving yourself. But once you move to here, so that's where, yes, test phase, any money you make. Because some people say, well, so you hit that profit target and then they keep all the money, you don't get anything from it? No, because no money has actually been made. But once you go from test to pro, this is where, when you begin to make money, you will get what are known as payouts, right? You will request money and they'll send you money and payouts through there. Is there a limit of time to get? No, Franco, there is no time limit. But again, I would say, you have to take at least 5 days because the test period is minimum 5 days. So you don't need to rush, but also you don't need to take your sweet old little time, because if it takes you 6 months, well, I don't want to see you having to pay that 6 times. So I would say, and again, futures move quick enough where you can get through these tests within a month. So that's why I say get through it within a month so that you do not have to pay that fee again. Because again, once you go from the test into the pro, there are no more monthly fees. Yes, Lance, exactly. They come out of their pocket, which is why once you make $10,000 here, they're like, well, you could bankrupt us as a company, so we're moving you to Pro Plus, which is live. That's why I like Take Profit Trader. It's a sustainable business model. Because if people don't push you to live, then in theory, like a super, super, super good trader could bankrupt the entire company. So that's why I love this. After 10,000, they move you into Pro, which is live. So those profits are coming from the market itself. Do you use a specific strategy that you... Franco, didn't I already... maybe... I thought I gave this. No, Franco, if you want to learn from me in a structured way, I need you to be serious. And serious people are going to be doing this. Okay? So if you want to learn from me and in a step-by-step logical sequence, a process that's not going to have you feeling overwhelmed, then you can look at that link and do with it what you will. If so many successful traders withdrawing at pro account, how the company sustain to pay for long term? Like I said, Mohammed, you don't stay in the pro phase forever. After you make $10,000 in this account, they move you into here, Pro Plus, because that is in a live market, which means that the profits you are now making is not coming from the prop firm itself. It's coming from the market. Good questions, good questions. If you are enjoying, make sure you hit that like button. If there's any other requests for stocks or if you're curious about other futures markets or crypto, or actually, what's Bitcoin up to right now? Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Where's Bitcoin at? Because Bitcoin is open right now. Overall downtrend. So this is kind of like what I was talking about right now with the markets. So right now we do have a bull pennant. However, the but is, well, it's occurring in an overall downtrend via the downward sloping. So this is what I've been talking about in terms of like the overall markets right now. Think about earlier, for those of you that have been on the live stream long enough, talked about a lot of the daily time frames and how they have bull pennant patterns on the daily, and how it's kind of a wait and see, because technically speaking, the bull pennant is occurring in an overall downtrend. Well, here we have a microcosm of that, because on the 5-minute Bitcoin, it's the same thing right now. So is this pattern, which will, because Bitcoin's open, maybe we'll get our answer right now. Is the prop firm your main source of income? I don't know. I have many streams of income. Nope. I don't. I think, and I almost talk about this every live stream, but it's fine. I mean, I think one of the worst goals that anybody could ever make for themselves is, I want to be a full-time trader. I've never met a full-time trader. I'm not quite sure full-time traders actually exist. Now, before you say, hey, such and such is a full-time trader. Yeah, are you about to name me somebody that's got a blog, a YouTube channel, a Discord chat room? Is that who you're about to tell me? Because if so, they're not a full-time trader. They have other streams of income, which is good. I have the same thing. So I'm not judging. Well, I am judging them, but I'm saying, hey, well done to them. Because every wealthy person that I've ever studied has one thing in common: many streams of income. So the thought of, I want to be a full-time trader, my only stream of income is from trading, I could never do that. That would be way too much pressure. Way too much pressure. And I've never met anybody that's been able to do that because I think it's just way too much pressure. So I say multiple streams of income. So the more income streams you can get, like I said, every wealthy person I've looked at, that is how they build wealth. They are building. So I would like to call myself a full-time income stream creator. And I'd encourage you to do the same thing. Have that as a goal. I want to be a full-time income stream creator. So right now it is knocking on the door of the lower part of this. Is Bitcoin going to have this bull pennant fail to the downside? Because again, the overall trend right now, it is bearish. So, anything specific to be studying as far as Again, I'm just doing this because people keep asking, like, anything. Yeah, like if you want to learn, and if you want to learn from me in a controlled, sequential sequence that's going to make sense, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed with all the information on the internet. So I am not selling a magic pill. I'm not selling a magic strategy. I am selling structure. I'm selling a sequence to learn about things, so these things that you learn about make the most sense. And it's been fine-tuned over a decade now. Started off the program in 2013 and have listened to constructive criticism over the years. And I haven't made any changes in the past, 4 or 5 years. But yeah, thanks to people giving feedback over the years, it's been fine-tuned. And so that is what I'm selling. Please do not sign up if you think that I'm selling you my magic strategy or that if this is some sort of magical system. Nope. I am selling you information structured in a way that is going to make most sense to you. And the one common thing I see all the time and makes sense is, Clay, yeah, it's all for free on the internet, but wow, there's a lot of bad stuff out there, but there is just a lot of stuff in general, and I feel totally overwhelmed right now. I get it. But if you go through things in a sequential manner and learn about things in a certain order, these things are going to make the most sense. You're going to absorb them quicker. You're not going to feel overwhelmed because let's first learn about this. Because when we first learn about this next thing that we need to learn about is going to make more sense. But when you're new, you don't know what, like even if I just default, like let's just say that, now this is not going to happen, but when you're new and struggling and you don't know what you don't know, part of not knowing what you don't know is like, well, I don't even know, is this good or bad information? But let's just assume for an instant that somehow you're able to pluck every good bit of information out from the internet. Again, not going to happen, but let's just assume that. You're somehow able to pluck out every good piece of information from the internet. You still have a massive problem. You don't know what order you should learn about that information in, right? Math. Let's say somehow you're able to pluck out all the good bits of information from math. But then you learn, so you start off learning about addition, then you learn about algebra, then you learn about division, then you learn about calculus, then you learn about subtraction, then you learn about differential equations. You're going to be like, again, it's all good information, but the order in which you learn about it is going to create the sense of overwhelming. Correct, Noah. Pro is payout. On Take Profit Trader, the pro account, the environment says sim. Do you only start taking profit? No. You take profit at the pro account too. It is sim, but they will still pay you. But that they will only pay you up to a certain amount before they move you over to the Pro Plus account where it's a live market. Which is why I like their business model. It shows that their business model is sustainable. Because in theory, if a really good trader shows up, it could bankrupt a prop firm. But that's why in this situation, they're like, hey, after $10,000, I mean, congratulations to you. $10,000, we're moving you into Pro. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, Pro Plus. So if my first trade has a $100 drawdown and break even, and my second trade is $300, is my... Okay. So it's 2,000. So if your first trade is minus 100, okay, now this is at minus 1,900. Or I'm sorry, not minus, just if your first trade is minus 100, your drawdown is now 1,900. You have $1,900 left that you're allowed to lose. And breakdown and break even, okay, has a $100 drawdown and break even. I'm confused. Is your first trade $100 down, or is it a break even trade? What are you asking? Okay. Oh, so you're saying it turns out to be break even. Okay, well then in that situation, it's still $2,000 because it was a break even trade. Okay. And my second trade is plus $300. Okay, well, at that moment in the day, if the first trade was break even, well, you're still at 2,000. If your next trade was 300, well, then you're at 2,300 for the rest of the day. However, the next day, because it's a trailing end of day drawdown, this 2,300 goes back to $2,000. So it's trailing you at $2,000. So that's how that works. Now, if on that first day, if it's 2,000 and then you lose $100 on the first trade, well, now it's $1,900. The next day you come back, it'll be at $1,900. Again, they're keeping you at 2,000. Well, Curls, the market's not open today, Curls. And with all due respect, Curls, you are just in a lot of these people's shoes. You know what I mean, Curls? Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that used to be brand new and then they're like looking down at other brand new people. Pff, you're still telling these brand new people this stuff? Man, I would much rather be doing this, that, and the other. Curls, you were just in their shoes like 2 days ago. What are you talking about? Don't be one of those people. I thought if you let your profits rise and don't cash out and trade ends up even, you are still penalized. No, that's not. No, that's a different type of drawdown. That's not how it works in the test phase. I didn't ask you about the prop firm. Curls is starting to push the patience here. Can I choose the broker or it gives us one to trade with? No, I think you mean the platform. Broker, what? Yeah. No, you can choose. The one I use is Tradeovate. But yeah, you can choose during the checkout process. What up, Clay? Thanks for all the content you put out over the years. Well, you're welcome, Nate, and thank you for taking the time to type that up. Hopefully, it's helped you. No, you could use TradingView, but then you would still have to execute it. But yeah, so you could use TradingView, but no, you cannot use interactive brokers. These are the choices that you have. Correct. Yeah, what market move? Yeah. We're at time-wise. All right, we're not even at 3 hours yet. What's the link of that page? It's linked at the top. In the comment, Franco, if you click on that, it's got the link. And then if you want the deal and want to support the channel, Clay. And Curls, I was just thinking, what there was something else. Like, he said something else that was ridiculous. That didn't make any sense. I would more likely watch you trading. Well, the markets are closed today, Curls, so I can't trade. So your whole comment is kind of just, I don't know. Yes, if the markets were open, we'd be watching the market. I'd be analyzing. I'd be taking some trades. But the markets are not open today, Curls. Do you short or only long? I do both. So should you. Why cut yourself short? Oh, no. Okay, here's our... Remember, we were watching this bull pennant. And it's broken down, and we'll see if we get more follow through. But hopefully nobody's shocked by this. A bull pennant pattern failing in an overall downtrend. Now, has it failed dramatically? I'm not going to go that far, but it is in the process of failing right now. But hopefully nobody's shocked by that. A bullish pattern failing in an overall downtrend, not too shocking. Same with if there is a bearish pattern that was forming in an overall uptrend, hopefully nobody would be like, oh, wow, I can't believe that bearish pattern didn't work out. It's like, no, that actually makes pretty good sense. What's the daily on Bitcoin looking like? Ooh, just kind of chop, chop, chop. Pretty tight range. But yeah, Franco, you should be wanting to short and long. Because if you can look at a chart and be like, I don't care what happens. If prices go up, I can make money. If prices go down, I can make money. I mean, how awesome is that? Like, that's what we want as traders. We want that freedom. We want that flexibility to literally not care what happens because we know we can make money no matter what happens. Oh, there's more of the, there it is. Now, yeah, now I'd say this is just a full-blown failure of that bull pennant. So that's exactly what I'm not saying it will happen, but this is the same circumstance. Let's go back to the NQ, for example, on the daily. Let's go to the MNQ instead. So there we go. There's that bull pennant. But it's occurring in a downtrend. I'm not saying for sure it's going to do what the 5-minute Bitcoin just chart did. I'm just saying that this is the general atmosphere of what we were just looking at. And then let's check out where we started the day. I think SPY. Same thing here. You have a bull pennant, but this bull pennant is occurring in an overall downtrend. Is it about to break to the downside? I don't think that's going to be that shocking to people. So yeah, funny how that worked out at that exact moment in time. Bitcoin giving us an exact example of kind of what we're going to need to be seeing and watching moving forward. Bull pennant, overall downtrend. This actually started to go to the downside. Yeah, you're welcome, Franco. Are there any other questions or requests or anything like that? My strategy is to start small and add contracts in my position, moves in my... Yeah, start small. Start with MNQ, Richard. That is a good strategy. And I'm not trying to rain on your parade, but that's if you blow up an account along the way, there will be casualties. Doesn't make you a bad trader. At the end of the day, you're only out $100, much better than thousands of dollars. How can I pass take profit 50? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like, what do you have to do to pass? For the 50, you've got to be able to make $3,000. You are not allowed to lose $2,000 though. So that's how you pass. Those are the rules. You can take as long as you want, but I would say get it done within a month so that you don't have to pay this fee again, because once you move from the test account to the pro account, there are no more monthly charges. I'm not sure if that's what you meant how, but yeah, that would be how. You got to make the 3,000, but can't lose 2,000. Are you familiar with the built-in copy trader on Tradeovate? Kind of. People in my community, which I don't know if you're a member of the private community or not, Nate. But if you are, then yeah, there's a lot of people within the community that are much wiser with it than I am, because I don't do really any copy trading. Do you recommend using a loss limit? I have no idea, Richard. I don't know your strategy. I don't know your goals. I don't know your personal risk tolerance. I know, quite frankly, Richard, I don't know anything about you, so I have no idea what would be best for you. I do not know that. I'm glad that you're thinking in the risk management department, but those finer-tuned details, I don't know. Dude, did you have a solid strategy for futures day trading? Well, it has nothing to do with futures day trading. It's Do you know how to read charts? Do you know how to build trade plans? That's the question. Do you know how to build trade plans is the core question. Because then you factor in, well, and as a technical trader, I use this. I use technical charts, candlestick charts to build trade plans. So I disagree with the premise of your question, Lance, because the question is actually, do you know how to build a trade plan? Do you know how to manage risk? And then you can add in, if so, then you can use these trade plans, you can use these risk controls for futures. Or you can use these trade plans. You can use this risk control for stocks. Or you can use this trade plans. You can use these trade plans for Forex. So it has nothing to do with, do you have a day or a futures day trading strategy? No, it's just, do you have a strategy with charts? If you have a strategy with charts, then yeah, you could apply it to stocks. You could apply it to options because the chart is used for anything that has a, with a value, and that changes over time. Franco, honestly, it has nothing to do with me. Stop asking what I do. You got it. What works for you? I don't know. Just because I work at a certain day doesn't mean that it's going to work for you or at a certain time. I am not you. You are not me. We have different goals. We have different strategies. We have different risk tolerances. What I mean, Franco, if I said, hey, how do I have fun? Maybe you're like, here, Clay, this is how you have fun. You go skydiving. And in my opinion, that sounds terrible. That does not sound fun at all to me. Now, does that mean that you're right and I'm wrong? No, it just means we have different risk tolerances. So irrelevant what I am doing. Irrelevant what I'm doing. I'm using charts to manage risk. Now, I can teach you more about the tools and how to fine tune that, but irrelevant what I am doing, because I am not saying, hey, you have to trade exactly like me. I passed Apex and Monex and funded. I will keep trying. I will keep trying to take right and will not give up. Well, thank you, Shirai. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Seems futures volume is significantly increased in market. Yeah, I mean the most volume is during when the stock market's open, but after there's still plenty of movement in after hours. And even if the movement slows down, you can just increase position size at no extra cost, which makes it really nice. Because in the world of stocks, it's like, well, yeah, you can increase position size. Yeah, but in stocks, you have to buy more shares, right? Which means you have to have more money in your account. Not so here. With this, for the same amount, you could start with one micro contract and you could go all the way up to 60 at no extra cost. It's not requiring any more money out of your wallet. Whereas if this was stocks and you want to go from one share up to 600 shares, well, then you're going to need money out of your pocket to be able to buy those extra shares. But that is not the case here with the prop firm. The prop firm is for the 119, you could start at one of these and then in the same trade go up as high as 60, but it is not requiring any more money out of your pocket. Good final questions. Good final questions. Let's get our update on. Oh, okay. Trying to recover. So, not have been a total collapse, although right now in Bitcoin, trying to stabilize out. If the price cannot hold that, though, I could see it picking up another round of downside momentum. I love prop firm space. No more option. Okay, Shirai. So you used to day trade options. Is that true? And if so, what do you think about futures day trading compared to options day trading? What are your thoughts on that? Because I sit here and I'm making the argument. I continually tell people day trading options is pure and utter garbage compared to Pam's plant, which is day trading futures through a prop firm. So, what are your thoughts on day trading futures compared to day trading options? I love futures a lot more than options. I think that's like the third or fourth person that we've had on the live stream today that is like, yeah, I used to day trade options, but I gave Pam's plan a try. Again, Pam's plant being an argument for right here. An argument for day. So this is the category of day trading, but day trading futures through a prop firm. Yet another person that used to do, like I said, either third or fourth person that used to do day trading of options, and now the newest quote, I love futures a lot more than options. I don't trade options at all now. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Hi, Clay. Hey, Clay. What happens if you blow a demo account? Yep, you just renew that. Yeah. So if you fail the test, if you violate the rules on this one, then you would just pay $100 to renew it. Which is why I also say it almost seems like this is the best deal Because if you blow any of these and then you have to renew for the $100, do you want that $100 giving you $25,000 of purchasing power, or do you want it giving you $150,000? You know, just something to consider and think about. Good question. I love your channel and thank you for all your gems. Well, thank you. Well, I'm just gonna shout you out here and just put this. I think this would really help. As somebody that is, we have a bunch of futures trade. We have a bunch of people that are doing Pam's plant within the community. Some really, really, really good traders. So yes, I am sales pitching you, but I'm also trying to recruit you. Would love to have you. You would fit right in. Now, everybody's welcome to join, but some people I'm like, ooh, I'd like them to join even more. Same with Richard, actually. So Richard, we've gotten to know each other. I can tell I like you. I can tell you would fit in as a person into the. So please consider joining the private community. And you'll be surrounded with a lot of people that have made a lot of money with prop firms and payouts that are great traders. So please check that out. Consider joining. You would fit in great. Again, the invite is to everybody, but some people you kind of interacting, you get a sense of their attitude. You get a sense of how serious they are, or maybe not that serious. So again, it's open to everybody, but some people, like, I'm recruiting. Well, then come on, Richard. No more excuses. You're signing up. No excuses, Richard. That's your next thing to do today. You are signing up. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it good. We're just at 3 hours. So thank you, everybody, for being here. As always, if you want to support the channel and you want to get in the Pam's plant, then just use the code that's at the top of the chat. For any of you that are maybe advanced prop firm traders, and you want to support the channel, Apex is doing an 80% off sale. Apex, like I said, this would be from what I would call more so advanced prop firm traders. If you're a beginner and just getting started in the world of prop firms, take Profit Trader. Way smoother, way more easier to understand as far as rules and all that. But for you advanced prop firm traders, if you're looking to add more accounts, then yeah, you want to support the channel, code Clay right there. And then again, for everybody, again, the invite. If you'd like to come alongside me, trade with other really good traders, then feel free to. Richard, you better join the community, Richard. I'm not putting up with any of your excuses. You better be in there by Monday. I don't want any excuses. But thank you for being here, everybody. I may be back tomorrow. Saturday morning coffee. I think I've done 2 or 3 of those. So if you're around tomorrow morning, you want to sip on some coffee, talk some charts, talk some trading. I may be back. It might only be for an hour or so, but yeah. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you know when I do go live. But I think I'll be back tomorrow morning for coffee morning, or Saturday morning coffee and trade talk. So maybe I'll see some of you then. But everybody take care. And if I don't, have a fantastic Easter. Enjoy yourself with your family, friends, all that. And hopefully I'll see you back on the live stream at some other point. Have a good one.